Alright bro, look, so Baki Do just released, and the insanity meter's already through the roof. I just started watching, and I know a bunch of you are waiting for me to make a video on it. And boy, do I plan on doing that. Cause what do you mean we literally start off with Baki running down the stairs because he's bored, and then got challenged by a heavyweight MMA fighter who has been the champion for 7 years. And all Baki did was grab this man's noggin and shook him up like an unopened ketchup packet, while trying his hardest not to yawn out of boredom. Baki's insanity is not finished, and while I work on this new Baki Do vid, here's an updated compilation of all my Baki videos, so nobody will be in the comments saying, oh my god, JP, you didn't cover this or that. Also look out for the new Wukong vid that's gonna be dropping soon. Anywho, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe, and hype this video if you're watching on mobile. Alright bro, look, Baki as a show has to be one of the wildest social experiments I've ever seen. They just decided how many insane and illogical things can we insert into this show until somebody decides, oh okay, this has gone too far. Cause bro, it is literally pure nonsense what be going on in Baki. But ladies and gentlemen, the Raitai tournament is peak 4,000-year-old Chinese martial arts nonsense. Cause the Chinese made the mistake of allowing Yujiro and his band of lunatics to enter their once every 100 years Grand Raitai tournament. And of course, it went about as well as you thought it would. Now we literally start this off with Baki looking like he's having the worst time of his life. Man's is walking around looking like a zombie skeleton straight out of Minecraft.
JP, how did we get here?
Well, you see, what had happened was
Last time on
Dragon Ball Z. Bro got into a fight with Yanagi in the last arc, which was the Prisoners arc, which contains even more Baki nonsense. If you guys want me to cover that, comment that down below and hype the video when you see it. Anyway, these 5 lunatics escaped out of their prison in the most bombastic way they could think of, and decided they wanted to go to Japan to harass Baki and his crew so they could taste defeat. In one of those moments of harassing people, Yanagi and Sikorsky pulled up on Baki, and bro put belt to ass. I covered it in my last reverse jumping video. Go check it out. But in the process, bro got poisoned, and this is how we got here. Best girl Retsu wants Baki to get better, so of course he's taking him to China. For what, you might ask? To enter the Raitai tournament, of course. Now the astute of you in the peanut gallery might be wondering,
But JP, Baki's poisoned, so why is he getting in the tournament?
well, you see, my astute viewer, according to Retsu and Baki logic, him entering into the tournament and fighting strong opponents might be just what Baki needs to be healed. Now be prepared to hear logic like that throughout the entire video, because that's just Baki in a nutshell. Anywho, Retsu winning Baki in the tournament might be all great, but he still has to prove himself. So Retsu goes to convince his master, Kaio. And this entire arc and tournament revolves around the people who's gained the title of Kaio. Basically the peak and masters of their martial arts styles. Anywho, Retsu's like, hey bro, he could fight anybody here, not gonna lie. Matter of fact, send him your strongest fighter. And we pan to these bald bastards already sweating. Like bro, Baki is half dead. I don't know what y'all sweating for. Anywho, Kaio confirms that Baki was the one that defeated Retsu. And after seeing Retsu's determination, bro had no choice but to allow Baki to show his stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, Baki has a lot of people writing for him, and Retsu is number 2 on that list, bro. Mans is willing to put his head on the chopping block for Baki. Like bro, you can't get better friends than this. Anywho, they introduce the guy Baki's gonna fight by saying he's just been training by punching a boulder his entire life, turning it into a smooth ball. Great! Let's see how well that does against Baki. They also said that he's the next candidate for Kaio. Anywho, they squaring up, and bro is ready. Look at this man's hairline. That shit has to be the sharpest I have ever seen in anime. Meanwhile, Baki's over here looking anorexic as fuck. They face off, and Baki turns to look at Kozue like, just watch, I'm about to humiliate this nigga. I don't think Baki meant to, but bro ended up rage baiting this nigga in the process. Man's got so mad, bro. Look at the veins on his forehead. Anywho, bro immediately goes on the attack, and look at this man's stance. Like, my guy, where are you going? Why is one arm longer than the other? Anywho, bro sees Baki with his arm wide open, ready for him, and he's flabbergasted. So bro throws a punch straight to man's face, only to hit straight air. Baki goes under, hugs him, and picks him up, and bro is going in straight elbow. Mind you, this is an already injured man. Like, why are you attacking him like this? I mean, it's not working, but like, why? The peanut gallery is of course flabbergasted that Baki's not even feeling this. And then Baki puts this man down like he was a child. Like, you just lost every bit of aura you ever had in your life. Bro kicks Baki and hits nothing but air again. And bro gets grabbed by his balls. Oh my goodness, bro. Like, this is embarrassing. Man's got his legs dangling in the air. Like, this is just humiliating. Like, after this, like, you can't go back home to your wife, bro. Matter of fact, bro, you might have to pull out the blick after this fight, bro. Like, after getting humiliated like this, there's no other option than to blast the nigga. And Baki put this man down like a child again. Everybody flabbergasted. And look at Retsu, bro. He is so proud. Anywho, bro, of course, gets mad and tries to kick Baki in his junk, only to be blocked. And Baki is looking up, bro, like, please don't embarrass yourself any further. So bro goes and tries to pull off a chop, only to end up with Baki's toes tickling his nose. And bro just gave up after that one, because that's enough embarrassment for one day. And that was enough to get Baki into the tournament. Later that night, Retsu, Ryu, Kozue, and Baki are meeting. And of course, they're explaining 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts, blah, blah, blah. And Ryu Kaio gets a visitor. And it's none other than Muhammad Ali Jr., fresh off the back of pulling the wildest rage bait on Yujiro Hanma I have ever seen. Oh my god. Man's got so mad he shook an entire skyscraper. Anywho, bro pulls up and says he wants to join the Raitai tournament. And just like Baki, he has to prove himself. So they put him up against this rando. And mans pulls the same bullshit that Yujiro tried to pull. But of course, since he's not him like Yujiro, Ali Jr.'s not afraid to get down on the ground with him. Bro gets on the ground and weaves every single kick man's throws. And then Ali locks his leg and knocks this man's brain straight. And bro immediately stood up after that one, bro. He was not ready to take another one. Bro goes for another hit and immediately got clobbered in the mouth. Ali had this nigga scared up against the wall, bruh. He tries to attack again, only to be uppercutted and finished off with a three-piece combo of Doyle. And this man on his tippy toes and his jaw broken. And just like that, Ali Jr.'s in the tournament. Now after this, we get one of the realest scenes in Baki. Cause remember how earlier when I said that Retsu was number 2 riding for Baki? Well, number 1 is none other than Kozue, his girlfriend. Not gonna lie, bro, we all need a Kozue in our life, man. She is willing to hold it down for Baki through thick and thin, bruh. Mans is half dead, spitting blood up everywhere. And she still believes this man can do this. Like, bro, if you get a ride or die like Kozue, do not let her go, bro. Put a ring on that finger. I can't wait for the day when Baki marries this girl, bruh. Cause she been his number 1 fan ever since they met. Anywho, we finally get to the beginning of the Raitai tournament, and they proceed to introduce all 12 current Kaio, including the winner of the last Raitai tournament, Kaku Kaio. Bro is 126 years old. Anywho, we start this off strong with Yujiro going up against Kaio Ryu. But before that, they were like, hey bro, you gotta break some tiles to prove your strength. Even though that shit ain't make sense to Yujiro why that would prove his strength, he did it. Demolished all 40 tiles touching the ground. Ryu Kaio didn't let that bother him though, and gets ready to fight. Yujiro proceeds to rage bait this nigga by talking shit about their 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts. So Ryu goes to attack, only to stop close to Yujiro's face. And that's when we find out bro has his hand under his face. I don't even know what martial arts this is. And bro's like, hey man, I wouldn't move if I were you. But Ryu did not listen. Bro goes for another attack, and Yujiro proceeds to flip this man. And not only did he flip this dude, but he tore off this man's face and tosses it to the Chinese elders responsible for holding the tournament. Bro took his entire facial features off like that shit was some mask. Yujiro's like, alright bro, I'ma head out. But Retsu comes out of nowhere wanting to fight this man. But his master, who is still moving, stops him and wants to continue the fight. Bro throws the bloodstained towel at Yujiro and tries to get him with the kick, which missed, tearing Yujiro's shirt. So bro said, I bet, and kicks the fook out this man straight in his face, or what's left of this man's face, and downs Ryu with the towel landing right on his face. And just like that, the tournament that was held to show how strong Chinese fighters are starts off with a Japanese monster winning the first round. Anywho, the next fight of the tournament was Muhammad Ali Jr. going up against Kaio Joe. And this man is like 10 feet tall. Like, what are you doing here, bruh? Anywho, bro launches a kick and gets countered by being punched in the balls. Look at the way this man is wriggling on the ground, bro. It's over. Well, apparently not, because bro got back up and man starts throwing hits wildly. Of course, Ali Jr. was just weaving his shit until bro pulls this stance. Like, where were you going with this? Bro, you look deranged. Anywho, bro followed this up with the wildest haymaker I have ever seen. And he's even crying because bro knows he is cooked. This is pure desperation right here. Anywho, Ali counters by rattling his brain and dropping his ass. The peanut gallery was flabbergasted because they really thought he had a chance. And the elders are even worse off, bro. They're like, damn, I can't believe we just took 2 L's back to back. And not only that, mind you, both L's were no hit run. Cause Ryu didn't get a single hit on Yujiro, and Joe didn't land a single hit on Ali. So the humiliation is strong with this one. Now Baki is half dead backstage, and we get another scene of the greatest people you ever want to have in your life. Kozue and best girl Retsu. Kozue hates that this is happening, but still chooses to support Baki. Anywho, the next fight is Baki going up against the Poison Hand. Bro steps out to the ring, and everybody's like, yo, the fuck happened to this guy? Bro looks malnourished as fuck. But his opponent pulls up, Kaio Lee, and bro's hands are swollen with poison. Them shits look gnarly, not gonna lie. And literally from the first attack, Baki gets got. Bro got poisoned even more on his foot, so he sucks that shit out. Afterwards, they go to do some anti-hand. He grabs Baki to kick him, but bro weaves, grabs his hand, flips his ass, and smacks the shit out of him. And bro somehow landed on his feet. And bro blocked that smack, bro. His hand was steaming. Meanwhile, Yujiro pulls up to watch. Bro pulls back up, asking Baki to use anti-hand, and bro's hand is shaking low-key. He kinda spooked. Baki attacks and immediately gets clobbered. Man's unleashed his entire poison hand capacity on Baki. Had that nigga steaming in pain. Bro is fresh out the microwave right now, bruh. Baki is spitting up blood and goes to attack, only to vomit so much blood, bro goes spitting out. And ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Baki logic again. Apparently, the poison Yanagi used and the poison that Kaio Lee uses canceled each other out due to yin and yang. And Causeways tears had something to do with the process too. So bada bing, bada boom, Baki is now healed from his poison and is ready to put belt to ass. Bro goes for a kick and immediately gets weaved. Retsu is ecstatic, of course. His boy finally healed. Lee, on the other hand, was being a hating ass nigga. So he gets into this, how are you doing, sir, stance, and goes on the attack, only to be blocked. And then blocked again. And Baki blocked him a third time by stopping the kick. And look at Baki's face. Alright, broski, you gotta head out now. Lee starts getting his reservations in because he knows he's cooked now. And Baki's like, sorry, bro, I don't speak your language. I don't know what you talking about, but you about to get your wig split. So bro gets mad. Pulls this stance looking like a toddler getting ready to run in the fucking playground. And 1, 2, 3 straight misses. When he goes for the fourth, bro gets his fingers broken. And bro, this has to be the craziest wind up for an uppercut. Launch that shit at this man's jaw. And look at the body twist along with it. Bro had this man floating. By the time bro landed, he was knocked out. And Baki stopped the last punch. Left that nigga knocked out standing up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, this is 3 for 3 on L's on the Chinese side. Them niggas are not having a good time, bruh. Now following this, Retsu brings this man Baki an entire buffet. And after bro was done, he looked pregnant. Mans was so happy, but Retsu was not done. Bro comes with a 10-liter bucket of water and 4 kilograms of sugar and stirs it with 4,000 years of Chinese love. See this right here? This is why Retsu's best girl, bro. Baki even had this man blushing. Baki gulped down the entire thing. And he started steaming. They walked in the room and found that shit was filled with fog. All from Baki just laying there steaming. And look at that. His physique is back. Bro gained all his muscles back and is basically immune to poison hand now. Anywho, the next fight in the tournament is Kaku Kaio versus Kaio someone. And bro gets humiliated the worst out of everybody. And mans really thought he was him, not gonna lie. Bro goes for a kick and only got the glasses. And then Kaku Kaio goes behind this man, pins him in front of everybody, and proceeds to flick this man in his balls, putting this nigga out of commission for life, bro. He is cooked. Mans is not going to have any kids in the future. After getting humiliated like this, bro goes backstage and tried to pick a fight with Yujiro. Bro throws a kick only to be grabbed by his face and smashed in the ground. Imagine taking 2 L's back to back without landing a single hit. Bro lost the match, his dignity, any respect he ever had, and his ability to have kids, all in less than 10 minutes. Now the next fight, alright, I forgot to mention, Dorian is somehow in this match. And as you can see, bro is a shadow of his former self. He ended up getting clobbered by this dude who claims his body is like diamond. But afterwards, this man wasn't satisfied. So he requests to fight Biscuit Oliver instead. And this nigga made the mistake of allowing Biscuit Oliver to get the first hit. So bro literally walks up to him, puts his hand on his head, and folds this man. Like bro, I felt that shit in my own spine. There's no walking, like bro, what can you even do after this? Anywho, after that, I can't even call this a fight. Like, it was just that. I don't even know. After that folding, we have Kaio Jaku going up against Kaio Jin. And Kaio Jaku is the scummiest nigga in this tournament. Bro tricks this man Jin by coming up to him with his hand out for a handshake. Once bro let his guard down, he gets grabbed and flipped, and then bro breaks his hand, finishing him off. Now while this was happening, Baki thought it was a good idea to challenge Yujiro to a fight. And yeah, it didn't end well. Bro got put through a fucking wall. But next in the tournament is Kaio Retsu going up against Kaio's son. Bro pulled up showing off his grip string by breaking up these 10 rings in his hand. But Retsu's like, bitch, I know a 19-year-old in Japan that can rip a chunk out of a deck of cards with 2 fingers. As expected, Kaio's son gets bitched and loses to Retsu. Had this man ass tooted up on a Tuesday afternoon. After this, can somebody explain to me why this Chinese team is getting bitched right now? We done lost all matches against the opposite side, except for Retsu. So he blames the 3 elders, asks them to put their hands on top of each other, stabs them, and chops that shit off. Bro said y'all deserve this for raising these weak-ass niggas and giving them the title of Kaio. And he decides, alright, we're changing the rules. We have 2 teams now. The Chinese coalition going up the Japanese and Americans. And bro brings in his son Shunsei and Mr. Hand Pocket over here. The other side agrees, of course, and we get to the first fight. Hand Pocket, who stands up using his fart, going up against Oliver. Now, Hand Pocket is known as Mr. Unchained, and Oliver is known as Unchained. So this was a battle to see who's the real Unchained. Now, Hand Pocket started off strong, dogging Oliver at every turn, cause bro could not understand this Hand Pocket thing that bro was doing. So Oliver decides to copy this man by shoving his hands in his underwear. So bro finally took his hands out of his pockets, gets peeved, and goes crazy on this man Oliver. But Oliver wasn't worried. He slowly took his hands out of his underwear and waxed this man's on his shoulder, knocking this man to the floor. Bro gets up with the quickness, and mans is angrier than ever. Oliver gets close and was about to pull his hands out of his underwear, but bro was faster and hits him with the 1-2 combo and puts his hand back in his pocket like that shit was a holster. And then bro proceeds to kick this man in his balls. Like, what's up with Baki characters and kicking people in their balls, bro? Like, what is wrong with you people? And then bro hit him with the 2-piece using the lemon pepper steppers, followed up by straight up an assault of attacks. He was beating the shit out this man Oliver, until bro gets his head grabbed and got the headbutter doom. Even Yujiro said he wouldn't want to get headbutted by Oliver. And bro proceeds to do it 2 more times to this dude, finally putting this man out of his misery. Now Kaku was backstage, like one of our DC World skits, bruh. Bro in the locker room like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? We just lost the first match. Shunsei pops up and said he's gonna kill all 4 of them. And bro was eager to get into the fight too, so he went up against Baki. Bro comes into the ring ready to fight, running towards this man Baki and throwing a punch. But ladies and gentlemen, this is where the embarrassment starts. Bro gets weaved, brain rattled, followed by the meanest uppercut I have ever seen. And while bro is collapsing, Baki ends it with a kick. Bro got KO'd in 2 seconds, and bro was talking the most shit. Afterwards, Kaku's like, hey bro, are you sure we're related? Cause there's no way you got laid out in 2 seconds. Now the next fight was Retsu going up against scummy nigga Jaku. Of course, he starts this off by trying to give a handshake to trick him into the first hit, only to be countered by Retsu and tossed. So bro comes back a second time with the handshake, tried to flip Retsu, only to be countered and flipped himself. Bro, this was basically the entire match. This man trying to trick Retsu, Retsu going for the handshake, and him trying to pull off some shit only to be countered. This was one of the most embarrassing fights in Baki, not gonna lie. Bro tries again to get Retsu, only for Retsu to go crazy and beat the shit out this man. But after that, he actually gets Retsu, flips him, put him in an armbar, and breaks that shit. After that bullshit, the peanut gallery was ready to jump this man, but they were stopped by Retsu. Now Jaku thought just because Retsu lost an arm, it would be a fair fight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that shit was not fair at all. Bro was getting pressed. Retsu grabs this man's hand with his toes and flips him. While on the ground, Retsu almost kicked his ass, which had this man shook. Anywho, he ends up getting excited about this fight now and start throwing hits, only to have them shits weaved and blocked. So he goes for Retsu's ankle, apparently pressing a point in the ankle that hurts the most, according to Baki logic. Retsu starts falling, so Jaku kicks him, and while falling the other direction, this nigga Retsu grabs him by his beard with his bare toes. That has to be a new level of disrespect, bro, because grabbing a man's face with your fucking feet is absolute insanity. Bro flips Jaku and rips off his beard in the process. Bro came from Vsauce, Michael here, to General Burnside. After this, bro decides to fix Retsu's broken arm. But ladies and gentlemen, this was the beginning of the end. Cause after this, Retsu proceeds to beat the brakes off this man. Bro got beat so bad, he ended up in the fetal position. Like this shit was a fucking tornado drill. Bro starts celebrating, and when Retsu got close, he headbutts the fuck out this man. Of course, Retsu get mad and gives this man the knee drop of doom on his back. Even Robin would be proud of this. After that, Retsu goes ham on this man's back, bro. And when he sees that he's not doing any damage, Retsu forced his ass to stand up by hitting a pressure point. And then bro finished him off with one last punch. Now after this, it was Ali versus Poison Hand's brother. And bro starts off by cutting his face with a left hook. But Kaio Han over here is arrogant because he calls boxing incomplete since they don't kick. So Han goes wild with the kick, Ali dodging him. But bro hit a sweep that had Ali hitting that Drewski stance. And Han thought he had Ali, except he made one crucial mistake. Baki logic still exists. So bro kicks the ground, weaves, uppercuts him, and hit him with the finisher left hook, sending this man to the ground. Now you would think Han would be done after this, right? Nah, bro gets up and tries to continue fighting, only to run straight to the floor. Brody didn't even know he was knocked out. He tried to continue fighting and couldn't. Now the Chinese team got completely humiliated, and when Kaku got in to fight Yujiro, bro got dogged, not realizing that Yujiro's hands are rated E for everything under the sun, and he is not against fighting elderly people. Kaku had to intentionally stop his heart just so he wouldn't die. And of course, thanks to Baki logic, he was able to restart his heart and continue moving around like nothing happened. A lot of you were mad that I didn't talk about Kaku versus Yujiro, and the reason I didn't put it in the last video is because I already talked about it in my Yujiro Hanma video.
But since I'm so cool,
JP talk too much. Presents Yujiro forcing an old man to stop his heart intentionally so he wouldn't die. And yes, I know that sentence made 0 sense, but welcome to Baki. Now Yujiro and Kaku pulled up to the arena, and Yujiro is looking enormous. They say this is peak brute strength versus peak technique. I say this is peak nonsense. And Yujiro throws the first punch, and we see Kaku fly off like a plastic bag blowing in the wind. And Yujiro, he only got the glasses. So bro throws the glasses and kicks, breaking Kaku's jaw in the process. Bro, why they show it dangling like that? Anywho, after fixing his jaw, Yujiro proceeds to pull the wildest cockback for a kick I have ever seen. Like there is no way this is anatomically possible. And he landed that shit directly into Kaku's face. Bro got this man Kaku eating straight leather, foot to face, full contact. And Lord knows where Yujiro's feet has been. But ladies and gentlemen, Yujiro has done 0 damage with that kick because Kaku is using something called Shaori, which is why he's not taking any damage. Kaku walks up to Yujiro and was about to dog him until bro got scared of some hair and turned into a fucking pill bug. Anywho, bro gets back up, throws a punch at Yujiro, and had this man terrified. This nigga even had Yujiro up against the wall. Look at him, he's scared. Bro does not want to get punched by Kaku. Bro punches and demolishes the wall. If Yujiro didn't dodge, bro would have been cooked. Even after seeing that, Yujiro took 2 hits from him and didn't even get damaged. Actually, this nigga starts showing all 32 of his teeth, laughing like a fucking lunatic. Bro flips Yujiro, and when he saw that Yujiro was still laughing, man's tossed his wheel at his ass. Mind you, he got this shit from his wheelchair, which he jumped out of, breaking the entire thing. Anyways, Kaku goes and punches Yujiro again, but Yujiro didn't take any damage because he used Shaori. Mind you, Yujiro just learned what Shaori was. And then bro was like, I am never using this shit again. Bro goes, cockbacks his hand, and sends Kaku flying. And ladies and gentlemen, may I remind you, this old man is 126 years old, and Yujiro does not give a flying rat's ass. He is gonna go full force against this old man. Kaku lands, only to be confronted by Yujiro's fist coming for the wildest uppercut since Baki had that one guy floating. And bro was ready to throw another hit, but Kaku kicked him, forcing him to block. After this, bro runs, punches Kaku, and got countered by a kick to the face. And look at the kick this man retaliated with. Bro had Kaku wrapped around his legs, bruh. And bro hits another uppercut that turned Kaku into a Beyblade, followed up with a punch to the face, sending Kaku to the wall. Kaku weaves the next punch. He just started dogging this man. Smacked Yujiro with the 4-piece chicken nugget combo with a side of one of them dry biscuits. Yujiro tried to retaliate, and Kaku's like, matter of fact, you get no beverage, and countered. After yelling at Yujiro and calling him a boy, bro decides to pull out his demon bag. And ladies and gentlemen, when a Hanma decides to pull out his demon bag, the fight's immediately over. But Kaku didn't know this, so he starts going ham on Yujiro, bruh. Uppercut, left, right. None of it was doing shit to Yujiro. Bro even got his hands in his pockets while this old man is wailing on him. Yujiro, getting tired, just lifts his hand, claps this man's ear, and followed it up with a punch. If that shit had landed, Kaku would have been done. But after the medics came, they pronounced that Kaio was dead. Except what Kaku did was stop his heart somehow, so Yujiro wouldn't kill him. And when they got backstage, bro got up and walked away like nothing happened. So yeah, that was Yujiro beating up on an old man. Now let's get to the topic of this video. 5 different death row inmates, without any knowledge of each other, decides to break out of prison in the most bombastic way they could think of. Find their way to Japan to taste a defeat. Now we're gonna be going on a character by character basis, following each inmate to when they finally tasted defeat. And I'm gonna start off with Doyle, because I think he's one of the most interesting inmates. Now Doyle's bombastic escape starts with the electric chair. They tried to fry this man from the inside out and it did not work. Bro got behind the first 2 security guards and smacked their heads together. And by the time the last one pulled out his gun to shoot, man's face was already destroyed by a punch. And Doyle is like, if you guys had waited like 10 more seconds, I would have been dead. But nah, he decides to head to Tokyo, Japan. When he gets there, the first thing he does is attack this random boxer that's just training. And when bro went to grab his collar, he gets his hand sliced, because Doyle got a bunch of razor blades in his collar. While the boxer was busy being flabbergasted, Doyle proceeds to slice his throat, ending him. Now after this, Tokugawa got all the other inmates to meet up and introduces everybody to each other. And everybody agrees, for this arc, there are no rules. Anybody from the opposite side can attack anybody else, anytime. Middle of the night, doesn't matter. You taking a shit, it does not matter, you getting attacked. Now after this, Doyle decides to pull up to Baki while he's in school. Mans is being lectured by his teacher, and bro's like, your muscles can only get you so far. You will never be able to jump high enough to reach this window from the first floor. Meanwhile, Doyle pulls up using that exact method, bursting through the window. Bro lands and poses. Like, you didn't have to do all that, bro. The teacher pulls up like, excuse me, sir, and got backhanded into oblivion. Baki pulls this fake ass crying act, and then double kicks this man Doyle right along with the desk. And bro just dipped out the window afterwards. Now the next time we see Doyle, bro pulls up on Oliver wearing this female police officer's uniform. Why he didn't grab a male one, I don't know. Bro was just feeling himself that day. He even made sure to put on some lipstick to look good. Now Oliver decided to make the mistake of drinking whatever this man brought him. And when Doyle took off his wig, Oliver was flabbergasted. Like, hey bro, he didn't know. So you're telling me this man got fooled by this 6 feet tall, muscular, strong-jawed ass nigga in a wig. And you was looking at a picture of him. Bro tries to throw the coffee at Doyle, but got countered and had that shit splashed in his face. Followed by Doyle slicing this man with his blades. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we notice that this man is wearing some cheetah print underwear. And this is why I decided to do Doyle's story first, because there's some lore behind them underwear, don't worry. Now Doyle starts yapping. And again, look at this wide-bodied, big and tall, built-ass nigga. How could you not tell he was not a female?
Beat yourself up. You're not the first man unable to tie me down.
What did he say?
Nigga, what? Yo, this man is straight up zesty, dog. Oliver starts combing his hair so he could look good while he beat Doyle's ass. But once he's ready to fight, man's just falls. And he's confused. And it's because Doyle's blade was coated in a powerful hallucinogen. Bro proceeds to kick Oliver straight in the mouth with the heels. And when bro got back up and started walking towards him, he put the same move on Oliver that he did when he first escaped. Had that man falling head first to the ground. Bro thought he had Oliver, until his ankle got grabbed, and Oliver spins him around like a helicopter and spikes this man in the ground, shaking the entire building. Luckily though, Doyle protected his head before he hit the ground, but mans was still down there twitching when he was done. Oliver goes to pick him up, only to get cut by the razors in his collar, punched in his face, and then stabbed. While Oliver was over here flabbergasted that he got stabbed, Doyle hops in the air and start comboing his ass, sending Oliver to the ground. Bro gets up, pulls the knife out, and by the time Sonoda and Shibukawa got in the room, Doyle had already escaped. Now, who here enjoys riding the train? So does Doyle. He just has a weird way of going about it. I swear these inmates always find the strangest ways to do the most normal things. Now directly after this, Oliver decides he wants a black belt in judo. Why? I don't fucking know. He just says he wants a black belt. So they took him to Shibukawa students. And when I tell you this man violated them students, bro took the biggest one and started spinning that nigga around, tossing him to the ceiling. Bro took another one and just started holding him over his head. That nigga Sonoda was heated. Shibukawa, witnessing his students get violated like this, decides to challenge Oliver next. Oliver tosses him, only to end up with his right hand mangled. But Shibukawa still gave him a black belt because he did prove himself. So yeah, Biscuit Oliver is a black belt in judo. Now the next time we see Doyle, he's showing Stratum all his enhancements, which are the copious amount of blades this man has installed in his body. Man's is basically Genos. While he's doing that, this dude Shinogi pulls up, wanting to fight, and immediately pulls a power play on Doyle. When Doyle decides to stand up, bro ended up with 5 toes to his throat. Man's had Doyle looking like one of them cockroaches fresh after you sprayed it. That shit looks painful. Doyle gets up and goes on the attack, about to use one of his blades, only to get countered with the elbow straight to the throat again. Hit me in the throat once, shame on me. Elbow me in the throat again, shame on you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you believe that Doyle got caught in the throat again a 3rd time? After this, you gotta go. Or actually, Doyle, pull out the blick, bro. I know you're probably carrying one of them somewhere. Shinogi made the mistake of getting close to Doyle on the floor and got his face blasted for it, knocking his jaw loose. Bro fixes his jaw and gets ready to pull off his ultimate technique. So Doyle takes out all his blades. While they were both standing there in their stances, Shinogi starts losing it because he wants Doyle to attack first so he could counter, but bro's not doing anything. While panicking, he decides to attack Doyle first, only to get blasted in the face. Hey, whoa. Bro basically got hit with a uni beam. Stratum over here was flabbergasted. Bro did not know Doyle had an explosive on him. Now after this, we pan to Baki that night. Mans was about to get some cheeks. Well, he was actually very nervous. So Yujiro pulls up to give some fatherly advice. And bro had Baki spooked, like where did he come from? After giving Baki and Kozue his blessing that nobody asked for, bro walked off into the night like he was Batman. Now the next time we see Doyle, he runs into Retsu. And this will be Doyle's biggest mistake. They go to a bar to have a drink. And bro tried to use that as an opportunity to cook Retsu, only for Retsu to pull a Uno reverse on him and stabs him in the eye with the kunai. And then bro's like, there's more where that came from, and turns this man into a pincushion. Doyle tried to run outside, but Retsu wrangled his ass, making him fall, digging the kunais even deeper. Retsu walks this man down and stood on top of him like a complete demon. So Doyle squirts blood into his eyes. When I tell you this man wasn't even phased, bro got mad, tied Doyle up with the rope, and proceeds to pull out this big ass sword from his bag. Doyle is terrified at this point. And when Retsu starts walking towards this man, doing tricks with the sword with one hand, bro tried to run. But remember, Retsu got this nigga caught. He can't go anywhere. So Retsu catches up and give him the Luffy special. Doyle runs away, making Retsu even more mad. So he chases his ass down until Doyle decides to use a smoke grenade, gets the jump on Retsu and stabs him in the back. And Retsu respawns with 4,000 years of Chinese rage. Doyle got demolished.
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
Doyle is on the ground, and bro starts putting in his reservations like, damn, is this what defeat tastes like?
Nah, that's not enough.
So Retsu starts pulling out something from his pants, a collapsible staff, and man started going wild. But he was just removing the kunai. Doyle, while on the ground, starts yapping, and bro tried to pull the same fire trick that he used on Shinogi, only to end up with Retsu's foot in his mouth. And then he just started whacking the fuck out of him with the staff. Looking at this, bro, I would never want to be on the receiving end of 4,000 years of Chinese rage, cause Retsu really went ham on this man. But right when Retsu was about to finish Doyle, he gets stabbed with a needle. And it's none other than Jack coming in for the save. Now after this, Doyle makes one of the most interesting choices in this show. He decides to protect Retsu from these two goobers who tried to rob him. Bro pulled a couple of Uno reverses and sent them niggas packing. Once Retsu wakes up and notices what Doyle has done, he decides he needs to get this man treated as quick as possible. So when bro happens upon a lake, he decides going to the bridge is too much work. Or rather, it's too far away. So he has a better idea. Run across the water. Ladies and gentlemen, this is peak Baki logic right here. Anywho, bro ends up getting Doyle the help that he needs and cooks food for this man. And again, I do not care what you guys say, Retsu is best waifu. Anywho, Doyle didn't stay long, cause bro came back to the dojo, thanks Katsumi and the Shinshinkai dojo for donating their blood and saving him. And then bro proceeds to blow up the entire dojo. Right after that, bro runs into Dopo, and Dopo's like, bro, like it's the darndest thing. Oliver went out for a midnight stroll and got struck by a meteor, and Retsu fell into a crack during an earthquake and died. I guess it's up to me to beat your ass. He throws his hat, and by the time Doyle sliced it, man's had Dopo's entire fist up to his face. After pulling off this power play, he leads Doyle somewhere so they could fight. When they get there, Dopo just starts talking shit and rage baiting the fuck out of Doyle. Bro gets so mad he attacks only to be blocked, and then gets pummeled by Dopo. After this, bro wakes up somewhere to find no one else but Katsumi sitting waiting for him. Katsumi kicks this man in the face, and bro's like, I'm gonna keep knocking you down until you admit defeat. Bro wakes up again and Katsumi is reading this time. Bro tosses the book and told him to come on. And when Doyle attacks, bro gets blocked and encountered by getting demolished by straight feet, dropping him. The next time bro wakes up, Katsumi is getting treated by a doctor. They give him some food, and while eating, Katsumi rage baits him. So he attacks, only to get his foot swept and dropped. And then bro hits him with the final downward strike. When Doyle wakes up again, Katsumi is gone. And the student left there to give him the message tells him, yeah bro, Katsumi said you in. After all of this, Doyle did have a change of mind and became close with Katsumi. And he was planning to leave Tokyo, to which Katsumi helped him out. And that's when Doyle ran into Yanagi, who ended up blinding him completely. After this, bro goes into a cave. And who else but Oliver decides to pull up in the cave. How he found Doyle, I don't know. Alright broski, hand him over. Huh? You heard me, nigga. Hand him over. What? The leopard print, my nigga. Hand him over. I'm here to get him. What? I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. You gonna have to get him from my cold dead body. Doyle throws a punch, which did nothing, resulting in him getting grabbed and given the hug of doom. Bitch ass nigga, you going home with your balls in the wind. Now the reason I mentioned these leopard print underwear is because later in Baki, when Baki goes to prison and challenges Oliver to a fight, he got on the same underwear. Now I was fine with stopping there, but when I went to Reddit, I found this conversation. Somebody says Yujiro also has some leopard print underwear. Somebody else responds, there's only one leopard print underwear in Baki, and Oliver lends it to Yujiro whenever he needs it. Now somebody else came and expanded the lore even more. Yujiro arm wrestled Oliver and won, and apparently for his prize, it was the leopard print underwear that he stole from Doyle. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ryuko Yanagi, one of only 2 prisoners in this arc that actually met Yujiro. Now, how did we get to the point where he's getting his jaws demolished by Yujiro? Well, this is the story of Yanagi. Bro is so dangerous, they put him in a glass cage with nothing but his ass out. They also say that glass is strong enough to handle an RPG being launched at it. So Yanagi pulls up, puts his hands on the glass, and demolishes it. Chops the first guard, and blows the other guy's entire organs out of his ears. And then he heads to Japan. First stop is Shibukawa. They have a conversation, and as a power play, Yanagi throws a boiling pot at this man and has a weapon pointed at his face, telling Shibukawa he ain't shit. Now the next time we see this man, he pulls up to Baki at school. Bro almost catches Baki lacking and had that nigga dodging for his life until Shibukawa pulled up out of nowhere, throws a pot of water at this man, and that nigga was freaking out until he realized that the water is cold. He tried to attack Shibukawa and got his jaws grabbed and spiked to the ground. Feeling humiliated, bro attacked Shibukawa, destroying his glasses and cutting him, cause bro had a tiger claw. After this, Shibukawa was like, yo Baki, help me jump this nigga, and they started jumping his ass. Had that man doing flips like he was Spider-Man. Bro calmly walks towards Baki and KOs him with one hand. Turns out, Yanagi has like 5 different ultimates, and one of them is literally using oxygen as a poison. Now after the cops pulled up, bro ran away, stepping on Baki. Now we get a classic locker room talk from Tokugawa. You niggas suck. How did you niggas lose? You got your whole hand cut off. And Baki, you niggas, y'all jumped him. How did you niggas lose a jumping? Man, y'all niggas is sorry. He gets grabbed by Hanayama, and he's like, let go of me, nigga. Damn it. I put money on you niggas, got this shit. Now y'all got me losing all my money, bro. The fuck wrong with y'all? I was bragging to everybody that y'all was them, bro. Like, you niggas are supposed to be them. How are you losing? Now, after Baki finally did the deed with Kozue, this nigga pulls up literally the next morning, challenging Baki to a fight. And Baki beat the brakes off him. So he pulls out another ultimate technique. Whip strike. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is when he poisoned Baki. Now, unfortunately for Yanagi, Baki also knows how to use the whip strike and beats the brakes off him again. And an honorary shout out to Kozue for being best girl. She was literally throwing her setup, wanting to help Baki fight. You know, it's the thought that counts. Thank you, Kozue. After Yanagi got his ass beat, Sikorsky decided to pull up too. And unfortunately for him, he also got his ass beat, humiliated by Baki. And then both of them got bitch slapped, making Yanagi cry. After taking this L, Yanagi decides to pull up on Doyle while he was trying to escape and blinds him with the poison hand. He wanted to kill Doyle right then and there, but bro escaped into the water. Following this, Yanagi got a letter of challenge from Motobe. Bro gets to the park in the middle of the night and got completely humiliated. Bro gets stabbed in the leg with a sword, followed by Motobe demolishing half his mouth. And then bro's like, damn bro, not gonna lie, you kinda suck. I might have to just head out. And this enrages Yanagi, so he tries to attack only to get grabbed and tossed face first into this metal playground. And then bro gets his poison hand chopped off before even getting to use it. And when Motobe was ready to go for the killing blow, Yujiro comes out of nowhere, followed by Tokugawa shortly after. Yujiro goes on a yap session, of course, and before he leaves, bro backhands the fuck out of Yanagi, demolishing what was left of his mouth. And so Yanagi finally tastes defeat, or Yujiro's backhand. Now Speck, out of all the prisoners, was the first and quickest defeat, but his story is funny nonetheless. Just like everybody else, Speck made a bombastic escape, cause this reporter decides he wants to go and talk to Speck, so they make him remove everything, including his belt. Unfortunately for him, when he gets to Speck, bro is not there in his cell. By the time he alerted the guard, bro was already done, and Speck escaped to the surface, murdering 5 more guards. After this, bro decides to pull up to Baki first. Now we pan to Baki, who's in the park dealing with literal lunatics. One of them got a ball and chain weapon, the other guy got a big ass machete, and the school bully even had a blink with him. Of course, all of them ended up failing miserably. The dude with the machete that he calls a knife pulls up but was stopped dead in his tracks when Baki somehow telepathically broadcast to his dome how he was gonna demolish his face with a punch. Baki made the dumbass with the ball and chain hit himself in the face, and the dude with the butterfly knife thought he could do tricks until Baki grabbed that shit and scared the fuck out of him. Now Buddy with the gun, seeing all his homies got dogged, points the gun at Baki. And that's when Speck pulled up. Bro grabs the gun and shoots himself in the mouth. I guess this was a form of intimidation or something. Bro pretends to introduce himself with a handshake, only for that shit to fall off, spooking Baki. By the way, that was the hand of somebody Baki knew. And then bro kicks him dead in his chest, plants Baki's head on the ground, and starts stomping on that shit. After the cops pulled up, Baki wakes up from getting stomped. But before Speck voluntarily allowed him to take him to jail, he reintroduces himself to Baki with a handshake, and then kicks the fuck out of him. Now after this, Speck proceeds to do some diabolical acts. First things first, he breaks out of jail, and it looks like this nigga ate the bar. He goes to a grocery store to buy some steamed buns, but remember, this nigga has no money, so of course he brutalized the cashier. Goes back to the jail they were holding him in, pulls up next to Sonoda taking a piss, and starts peeing too. Now Sonoda is flabbergasted that this nigga has the audacity, but bro out of nowhere offers him a steamed bun, and when Sonoda didn't take it, bro shoves it down Sonoda's throat. Mind you, 2 seconds earlier, bro was holding his meat. He didn't even wash his hands. And bro just shoved his finger down Sonoda's throat. Like, bro, that is just disrespectful. After this, bro tried to pull up on Baki while he's making out with Kozue. But before he got to do anything, the homie Hanayama pulled up for the save. Now they're squaring up, and Speck starts off with his usual kick. And in response, Hanayama decides to take his suit off in the most inconvenient way I could think of. Well, not for Hanayama, since he is strong as shit. He shows Speck his back, and bro likes the tattoo, but then attacks this man with a rock to the chin, whacks him in the face, and then smacked him again with his own shoe. And then bro picks him up by his face and then slams him in a light pole. And while Hanayama is getting up from the light pole, bro whacks him over the head with an entire bench. But Hanayama took that shit like a champ and is now ready to fight. Now we learned something interesting about Speck. Apparently this nigga got beef with the Statue of Liberty. Before coming here, bro went and demolished the base of the statue, and that shit almost broke apart. They had to get an entire team to hold it together. Speck starts the fight off with his ultimate move, the Apneo Rush, where he throws continuous hits for 5 entire minutes non-stop, and Hanayama's taking all of it. And when he finally retaliates, bro punches Speck, sending that man flying 10 states back. Gave that nigga an entire seizure. By the time bro caught his breath and looked up, Hanayama was already up in his face and dogs this man, dropping him. And when Speck says he hasn't had enough, bro punches him again. Hanayama walks him down, asks him if he's had enough. Bro didn't even get to respond, and he got his face rearranged. When Hanayama goes to pick him up again and ask him if he's had enough, this nigga pulls one of the most diabolical moves I have seen in anime. Bro grabs a handful of bullets, shove them in Hanayama's mouth, and explodes it. I swear, after that one, I know Hanayama was hearing colors and seeing sound. He left that man smoking. Speck thought he had Hanayama and goes to punch him, but bro got grabbed stabbed, punched into a light pole, and fried! After getting cooked, Hanayama takes Speck to the police. Now when Hanayama gets in the car to go home, that shit would not move, cause Speck was holding it. He was not done. He flipped the car upside down. While Hanayama trying to get out, he puts his foot on this man's neck, and Speck just starts whacking the exposed part of his mouth with a baton. Hanayama, of course, gets peeved and goes to punch him, only for this man to respond with a blade and shoots off Hanayama's kneecap until the clip was empty. Ladies and gentlemen, this was not the end of it. Bro pulls out another gun, kicks Hanayama, and continues shooting off his kneecap. He still was not done. Bro grabs Hanayama off the floor and starts stomping on his head with full force. After this, he takes his gun. He puts it in Hanayama's mouth and shoots. But Hanayama, the dog, made the barrel go through the exposed part of his mouth for him to miss. And it was all over for Speck after that, cause Hanayama flipped him, got on top, and started beating the brakes off this man. In the middle of getting his ass beat, Speck blocks his eyes and proceeds to flashbang Hanayama point blank. Speck used that opportunity to put Hanayama in a rear naked choke. Anybody else would have been cooked except for Hanayama. Bro pulls out his special move and destroys Speck's arm down to the muscle. And Speck was flabbergasted. While yowling, bro fingers Hanayama in the ear, only to get grabbed by the throat by Hanayama. And Speck was strangled with one hand, finally getting the defeat he wanted so bad. You know, I thought Speck getting dog walked by a 19-year-old was embarrassing, or Doyle getting the bear hug of doom and his underwear stolen was embarrassing, or Yanagi getting the daylight slapped out of him by Baki and getting backhanded into oblivion by Yujiro was the end-all and be-all of embarrassment. But these last two inmates made that look like child's play. Dorian's bombastic escape starts with this man being taken to the gallows and hung, but bro somehow did not die. Launches himself and kicks two security guards in half, followed by bro dogging two more with his toes, and then bro escapes and hung everybody else with one rope. Now the next time we see Dorian, he pulls up to the Shinshinkai dojo wanting to fight Doppo. Oh shit, unintentional barge. Anywho, Katsumi yells at him to take off his shoes. He does it, but kicks Katsumi straight in the mouth with his nasty ass feet. And while Katsumi is still flabbergasted, bro jams his fingers in his eye and starts strangling this man with his own black belt. While dangling, Katsumi retaliates with a kick straight to the snaz, followed by a straight knee to the dome, dropping Dorian. But that was not enough to take out Dorian, and bro responds with a floorboard to Katsumi's throat. And then he tries to walk out, but that's when Ratsu pulled up. Hey, where you think you're going, big dog? Take your head back to the middle. So Dorian pulls a crying trick and launches a... Is that a nose hair? And he ended up almost getting Retsu's eye, but Retsu did retaliate with his own double kick. After this, bro decides, alright, it's time to head out, and proceeds to flambe Retsu. But since Retsu has 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts on his side, he puts the fire out. Now the next time we see Dorian, he's walking with Doppo until Retsu pulls up to get his get back. Anywho, Doppo throws his bag of random bullshit into Dorian's face, followed by the wildest kick to the dome, dropping Dorian to his knees.
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
Bro tried to fry Doppo like he did with Retsu, but Doppo pulled out his ultimate defense and that shit didn't work. Unfortunately for Doppo, his perfect block wasn't ready for his head to be chopped off. Instead of falling to the floor crying like I would, this man thinks Dorian and punches him harder than before with the fucking stump of his arm. And them niggas disappeared after putting Dorian on his ass. After this, Dorian pulls up to Tokugawa's locker room top, ready to burn the entire house down. Unfortunately for him, Katsumi pulled up and dogged his ass. And then bro sets him on fire. After being flambéed, Dorian attacks and almost gets Retsu. And then bro proceeds to pull this shit. Mans really thinks he's the armor titan. Anywho, bro starts challenging everybody until Kato pulled up. He tries to sweep Kato, but bro dodges. And then this man slices off his ear. While bro's on the ground, Doppo kicks him. And that shit looks painful. Now, unfortunately for Kato and Katsumi, they got caught in this man's wire. And we're about to get diced into pieces. But Doppo came in for the save. After this, Dorian gets so flabbergasted, mans regurgitated an entire grenade and blew the place up. After this, he escapes into the sewer, but Kato followed him and tried to get into a fight with Dorian in his own domain. Ladies and gentlemen, it didn't go well for this man, cause bro got pummeled, beaten black and blue, and this diabolical ass nigga zips him up in a punching bag and leaves him there for Retsu to find. And then bro casually goes to a restaurant to have dinner in this trash ass disguise, but they already knew it was him. And all the Shinshinkai students from all walks of life decide to escort him that night to an amusement park for his execution. When bro gets to the entrance, he proceeds to dog one of the Shinshinkai students to show them that they weren't shit. After entering the park, he meets this angry bastard who tried to kick the fuck out of him. This is Suedo, and bro got done dirty by Dorian. They get into a quick squabble, and when Dorian sees this man is completely insane, bro skedaddled the fuck out of there. They get on this roller coaster, do a whole lot of yapping, and then Dorian disappears, gets behind this man and put him in a chokehold until out of pure luck, bro gets out of it. They're about to reach the loop-de-loop, and the narrator proceeds to do his gaslighting as usual. Suedo's not affected by all the swaying of the roller coaster because he has a karate stand. Dorian clocks him in the face, and when bro tried to come back for another hit, he gets blocked and countered. And mans was celebrating, he was doing great until this nigga Dorian tackled him off the roller coaster at the highest point. And now they're both falling. Unfortunately for Suedo, Dorian used the super strong string he's been carrying around to break his fall. Meanwhile, yeah, Suedo's laid out. That nigga is cooked. While Dorian is laughing his ass off, Katsumi pulls up, followed by Retsu and Doppo. And that's when we find out that Dorian is a Kaio. Anywho, Doppo decides it's time to beat the brakes off this man. And bro immediately gets to work. And I cannot, for the love of all that is nonsense and Baki, know why these people chose to make this CG. Anywho, Doppo breaks the cast on his arm and dogs Dorian straight to the face. And everybody else is flabbergasted because his arm's back. Turns out he went to a back alley doctor after it was chopped off and reattached it. Anywho, Dorian gets ready to fight. And bro, look at the size difference. This man is a mountain. Doppo throws the first punch, dogging this man, making him regurgitate an entire wine bottle that had acid in it. Anywho, Dorian throws a kick, got swept, face bomb, and hit with a finisher. Psych! That nigga missed, and Dorian tried to come with the finger only to be parried. And here they go with this bullshit CG again. Why does Dorian look like he has the meanest case of scoliosis right now? They go at each other and Doppo weaves, dogging Dorian in the process with a kick. Had that nigga's mouth going sideways. After this, Dorian's like, you'll never beat me because I know 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts. This nigga really think he's Retsu, bro. You're not him. Anywho, Doppo tests Katsumi's reflexes against Dorian. And this nigga used that same rock to blow dust in his eye, thinking that'll help him, only to be countered. And then Doppo starts dogging the shit out of this man, making him cry. Well, it turns out this was all an illusion. And he pulled the same shit on Kato when he tried to fight him. Unfortunately for Dorian, Doppo is him and starts beating the shit out of him for real. That nigga was flabbergasted. He ain't know how Doppo was doing this. He tried to finish off Doppo by cutting him with his fingernail, only to get his fingers destroyed. Mind you, Doppo is still hypnotized. Bro tried attacking with a blade in his shoe, got blocked and countered. Doppo walks him down, talks some shit, and then kicks him in the broken hand. And then bro starts punching him dead in his chest, demolishing his ribcage. And Doppo didn't even finish him off. Mans bring Kato fresh out the hospital. Bro was still in a coma in the wheelchair. This nigga Kato walked up to Dorian with so much aura. Mans got terrified, teeth chattering and everything. Mans was crying with liquid coming out of every hole in his face. Now, after being humiliated this badly, you think Dorian would finally accept his defeat, right? Well, that's where you would be wrong, because bro escapes out of the hospital, goes to Doppo's house, hits him with an explosive point blank to the face, and then this nigga just starts singing like a complete lunatic. Unfortunately for him, he runs into Retsu outside, and bro got punched with 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts rage. The real stuff, not that bullshit Dorian was talking about earlier. And yeah, Dorian got punched so hard, his brain reverted back into a child. So yeah, that was Dorian's defeat, not to mention he got bodied when he went to the Raitai tournament. But next up, after Doyle, we have who would be considered the cockiest inmate, Sikorsky. Now, Sikorsky has a thing for peeing on people. I don't know why, because literally after he escaped, he completely clobbered Russia's best athlete. And his way of telling people that he's going to Tokyo, Japan is somehow writing it with pee on the wall. Anywho, bro gets to Japan and immediately starts wreaking havoc. Tokugawa was talking to this dude, and bro saying if there's a ring and a paycheck, he'll fight anywhere. So Sikorsky pulls up, puts some plates on his head, and when bro got mad, man stabs him in both his hands, followed by carving his fucking face. And then here goes this nigga. A match is a match, nothing more. Anywho, they're loading bro into the ambulance. His mentor tried to attack Sikorsky, only to be weaved, countered, and then dropped on his knees. And then bro made the mistake of talking shit afterwards, talking about some by the time I'm done with you. Well, by the time he was done with that sentence, nigga had two big ass Russian boots heading straight towards his face. And then bro goes and carves his face too. That's like Sikorsky's special move, bruh. After that, Tokugawa took all the inmates to meet up and introduce their opponents and each other. Following that, Sikorsky gets jumped by Kanji Igari. Oh yeah, that's the name of the mentor guy. He did show up earlier in Baki during the underground tournament. Fought Baki and lost. But yeah, they jumped Sikorsky and took him to a random gym. And then this nigga pulled out the blick and shot this man like 5 times. But bro was wearing a bulletproof vest. And bro proceeds to dog the nigga that had candy in his mouth, slicing his face. Followed by the next guy getting his ankle and his thigh sliced, dropping him. And Sikorsky's so proud of himself, bruh. And then Kanji proceeds to get on the floor on his knees, begging this man to let him live. But this nigga Sikorsky is something else. Bro jumps from the ground and drop kicks this nigga. And while Kanji crawls away, Sikorsky grabs a barbell with all its weight, holds that shit like it was the Buster Sword, and just starts whacking this man with it. While Kanji is on the wall, bro just starts launching dumbbells at this man. Kanji looked like he was done after that, but Sikorsky, he wasn't done. This nigga Sikorsky pulls up, whips his meat out, and pees on him. Bro wakes up and tries to attack him mid-peeing and gets his throat sliced. And bro just dipped after he was done. Now after this, we pan to Baki walking with Kozue, when these 4 idiots made the mistake of trying to rob him. After the first 3 saw his eyes, they were too terrified to move. And bro just casually flips the 4th guy over his shoulder with one arm. And look at bro, he still doesn't know what the fuck just happened. After this, Baki takes Kozue home. While in her room, Kozue gets a visitor. And bro tells her, make one noise and both you and your mother are dead. And then he made the mistake of giving her the chance to yell for Baki. And bro immediately gets a foot to the face. After that, bro grabs him, headbutts the fook out of him, and then tossed his ass out the window when Sikorsky tried to go for an attack. But unfortunately for Baki, Sikorsky accomplished what he came to do. Kidnapping Kozue under the orders of none other than Yujiro Hanma. Now after this, they show you how much of a dog Oliver is by tanking shotgun shells and punching a man so hard out of a fucking window that he died before he ever landed. And while on a ride with Sonoda, bro just hops out the moving car to go see an old friend, none other than Yujiro. Meanwhile, Baki also gets there and finds Kozue. Now before this, Sikorsky made the mistake of trying to fight Yujiro and almost lost his fucking life if Oliver didn't come in for the save. Now Baki shows up, gets immediately pissed, and attacks Sikorsky, but he blocked and still got pushed back to the window. Then Baki pulled up again like the rebound king with another punch, cracking the window, followed by a roundhouse, an uppercut, and a punch. Bro was so mad he did like 3 different hits in one frame. And bro just kicked Sikorsky out the window. All of us like, oh shit, bro, you just took your first body, congratulations. But Baki's still being mad as shit, kicks Oliver so hard, bro started floating, followed by a punch to the face. Oliver still flabbergasted, didn't even get to land, and bro kicks in his kneecap, sending him straight into the uppercut. Oliver ate that uppercut, and Baki couldn't even pull back his fist. Now why this nigga decided to attack Oliver, I don't know. Bro literally had nothing to do with the kidnapping of Kozue. Now unfortunately for Baki, Sikorsky climbed up the building and pulled up behind him like a booty bandit. And Baki wastes no time going on the attack. But bro was weaving his shit. Baki's like, bruv, you fell like 27 stories, how are you not dead? And Sikorsky explains, compared to where he escaped from, climbing up the building was a piece of cake. So Baki decides he's gonna keep throwing his ass down until he dies. Sikorsky attacks and gets weaved, tried to throw a kick and got blocked. So bro resigns to just throw glass in Baki's eyes, followed by a headbutt. But when Baki blocked, he ends up with thumbtacks in his hand. Brody was flabbergasted, but that shit didn't last long because he got hit with the stink meaner special. Sent Baki flying to the ground, still confused about the thumbtack. But the police pulled up, so Sikorsky had to dip. And unfortunately for him, Baki pulls up to his hideout mid-shower. And bro's like, hey, I ain't say to put on your pants, bruh. You gonna have to fight me with your balls out. Yeah, and calling this a fight is generous, because Sikorsky got dog. Bro puts a bucket over his head and starts going crazy. Bro got all types of concussions right now. Bro couldn't even take the bucket off his head. And the magnum opus? A kick to the balls, of course. No Baki fight is complete without a kick to the balls. Bro had this man Sikorsky bare ass tooted up in the air. This level of humiliation has to be studied. And even worse for Sikorsky, Oliver pulled up. And Sikorsky wakes up while Baki was attacking Oliver and immediately gets a hit in. But Oliver ate that shit like Tuesday's lunch. After this, Sikorsky goes ham on Oliver using his cutting strikes. Unfortunately for him, he used them on Oliver. And bro couldn't even get one cut to his skin. Oliver cocks his hand back and the look on Sikorsky's face says it all. Bro got hit once and sent flying through the window. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of the end for Sikorsky. Cause after this, he gets into a squabble with none other than the greatest steroid abuser since the Liver King, Hanma. And Sikorsky was sweating before the fight even started. They go in this bathroom and Jack throws the first hit only to be weaved and countered with a kick to the face. While this nigga Sikorsky is hanging from the ceiling by holding onto the sprinkler head using 2 fingers. Jack is like, I bet! And bro starts yanking his ass. But Sikorsky was not gonna go that easily. Bro starts kicking the fuck out of this man's face. Jack finally gets his ass down and immediately gut checks him. Now after this, and I cannot for the life of me tell you why, these niggas hop into a random telephone booth, completely ignoring the nigga that was talking to his shawty, and they just start throwing hands. Sikorsky was elbowing the fuck out of Jack, followed by knees straight to the chin. When Jack finally throws a punch while getting headbutted, he breaks the glass. Sikorsky tried to run, but Jack uppercuts the fuck out this man, sending the entire booth flying. It lands on its side, and Jack picks up Sikorsky by the collar, landing another punch straight to the chin, flipping the booth upside down now. Mind you, there is still a random NPC in the booth. Afterwards, Jack's lanky ass just steps out, and they take the entire booth into the underground arena. Bro immediately goes in fighting Jack, and mans was getting it in. Bro was hitting up elbows, kicks, he even pulled off his Stink Meaner special until Jack picked him up and threw him into the peanut gallery. Jack walks him down and kicks him into the crowd. Not before Sikorsky took a nail to use later. When Jack told him to bring his ass back here, mans grabbed a random person's cane to use as a weapon. Bro ends up stabbing Jack, and that shit resulted in nothing. So bro drops the cane and throws the nail into his face. And Jack, this demon, catches it with his mouth. And bro just starts chewing that shit, spitting it back out. And Sikorsky was just flabbergasted, bro. He didn't know how the fuck that shit happened. After this, Jack just walked out of the ring, tagging in Gaia. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the final nail in the coffin for Sikorsky. If you guys don't know who Gaia is, he is a master of environmental combat, and the only person other than Yujiro to bring Baki closest to death. Bro gets in the ring with Sikorsky and ends up humiliating him. Not only did bro attack him with other people's teeth, but bro was psychologically fucking with his mind. He throws a bunch of sand in the air and completely disappears. And this nigga just starts messing with Sikorsky. Bro was punching him, tapping his shoulder, kicking him in the shin. Man's even grabbed his balls at one point. Had this man Sikorsky fighting ghosts and ghouls cause bro was not hitting anything. It got so bad, Sikorsky was cowering on the ground in the fetal position cause he didn't know when or where Gaia was gonna attack next. After Gaia did a bunch of counting down to psych him out, bro finally gave up, crying like a little bitch, telling Gaia to stop hitting him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how each death row inmate tasted their humiliating defeat. In the show Baki, the word menace is synonymous with breathing. That show is filled to the brim with straight up menaces, like Yujiro. If you know the heinous things that this nigga has done, yeah, you'll understand. We also have niggas like Retsu who decided to run on water for some reason. Like, who are you, nigga? Jesus? Like, bro, this show is so weird. And they will sit there and try to explain it all with martial arts, which is straight up bullshit. Telling me this man Yujiro walking through glass and it popping back in place can be explained with martial arts, bro? Yeah, bro, you have to turn off a portion of your brain to watch Baki. Anywho, today we're gonna be looking at some instances where Baki was straight up a fucking menace. And the first instance we're gonna get into is Baki making a joke of Ali Jr. Alright, so this whole thing started with Ali Jr. being a fucking simp. He saw Baki enjoying his time with his girl, right? And this nigga instantly starts hating. Like, bro, I should really throw his ass on Mount Hatemore for that shit. Cause wow, how do you see somebody enjoying their relationship and decide you wanna take their girl? So yeah, Ali showed up with his ego over the fucking moon, saying he's gonna beat Baki in the tournament and take his girl. And not gonna lie, bro, Baki is the realest nigga ever. Ali goes to Causeway to simp, saying that she's the prettiest girl that he's ever seen, and he wants to marry her. He's saying that it's her job as a woman to pick the #1 guy. And then this nigga kisses her. This is what I mean when everyone in this show is a fucking menace. But after all that happens, right? This nigga sees Baki and Kozue kissing in the park. And here go his hating ass. Excuse me? I need to talk to you, homeboy. Baki, I'm marrying Kozue.
Is this nigga serious?
Like, bro, this nigga has the audacity to come out of nowhere while they kissing and just declare that he's marrying this nigga's girlfriend. And Baki being the little menace he is, he's like, hey bro, you don't have an ulterior motive, do you? You know, like pissing me the off? And then here he goes, I'm approaching Kozue as a man. And this is why I say Baki's the realest nigga alive. Baki responds, hey yo, Kozue doesn't belong to anyone, homeboy. Kozue's like, hey, what do you mean? I'm your girlfriend. And Baki responds with this.
2人の間にだけ交わされた約束で他の異性は一切関係ない誰だって梢を好きになれるし恋人にしたければ申し込んだらいい
Like, on God, bro, Baki is real as fuck for saying that. Anywho, after a bunch of bullshit happens, we get to the fight. Ali enters the arena and is waiting for Baki to come in. And out of nowhere, this thing lands in the arena and it creates a bunch of smoke. After realizing who's coming up from the smoke, Ali starts shitting his pants. And they finally show you who's in the dust cloud. And it's Yujiro head ass. Like, bro, Ali accepted death at that point. But Baki told his ass to move out of the way, because that's his spot. And Yujiro, deciding he's the ref now, says this. This nigga just told them to fight to the death and the winner can come after him. They get ready to fight. And Muhammad Ali shows up to watch. But this nigga Yujiro goes to the dude that's supposed to tell him to start and told him to get the fuck out of the way, since he decided he's the referee now. And he finally tells them to begin. So they start fighting and Baki starts walking towards him. And Ali starts planning what he's gonna do, saying go straight, you know, get as close as possible. This nigga talking about some be brave. But then Baki finally got in range and he attacked. But Baki weaved his shit and smacks him. This nigga was flabbergasted at how fast Baki was, bruh. Bruh, this nigga went down with one hit. When he finally woke up, Baki's like, hey bro, do you want to continue this or are you done? So he quickly gets up and is like, oh my man, I messed up. That knockdown was your only chance. Bro, look at Baki's face. Yeah, this nigga don't care.
Still don't care. I don't.
But Ali said he's come to his senses and is ready to battle to the death, which was the biggest mistake this nigga could have ever made. You do not tell a menace like Baki that you are ready to fight to the death. This man Baki has been facing death since he was a child. So Ali starts, prepping himself up and is saying that he's gonna kill Baki before Baki even gets the chance to kill him. He's jumping up and down and making declarations. And bro, Baki does this man so fucking dirty, bro. He kicks this nigga in his junk.
He keeps kicking.
This nigga was sitting there talking, but he kicks him. Well, we know he's not gonna be having any kids. Every audience member was shocked, like, bro, Baki really just kicked this man. Ali falls to the floor like, hey, yo, what the fuck? And bro, look at Baki's face. He has no emotion. He's just looking at this man reeling on the ground. And then like the cold-hearted menace that he is, he stomps on this man's face. He's like, hey bro, you're on death's door. Ali Jr.'s knocked out, but Baki goes and opens his eyes, grabs him by his hair, and starts choking him out. Like full force choking this nigga. He's ready to kill this man. The audience was just shocked as fuck that Baki was really going to do this. Kozue's teeth are like chattering because she's really about to witness a murder right now. But as they're ready to call the fight, Baki gets smacked by none other than Muhammad Ali himself. But Baki wasn't even mad about that. He was just honored that he got to feel Muhammad Ali's legendary punch. And he's like, yeah bro, if you didn't step in, I would have actually killed him. And everybody got shocked for real this time. So yeah, Baki is a certified fucking menace. And the next exhibit we're gonna get into is just as wild. Baki bitches Oliver. Part 1. Alright, so how we got here was, Baki wanted to fight Oliver. Oliver is known as Unchained, the freest man ever. Even though this man's in prison, he can do whatever the fuck he wants and go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. And Baki wants to fight him. But seeing how this nigga's in the biggest prison ever, Baki has to find a way in. And how does Baki go about making sure that he gets into a maximum security prison?
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
He kidnaps the president, of course. Yeah, bro, this menace wanted to make sure that he got into the right prison, so he just abducted the fucking president. While this man had guards surrounding him in the car. Yeah, this also just proves how much more of a menace that Baki is. But Baki actually gets what he wants and then ends up in the same prison as Oliver. A bunch of shit happens. And now the #1, Oliver, is fighting the #2 in the prison, Guevara. They're doing this thing with the handkerchief and throwing punches. Whoever lets go of the handkerchief first loses. Now before this fight started, Oliver decided to bring his girlfriend out to watch the fight. And, yeah, bro, that's his girlfriend, Maria. His strong ass had to bring her ass out with the whole bed. She looked like she's wearing the bed sheets for clothes anyways, but that's not the focus of this video. As they're fighting, Baki is like, man, what the fuck is this bullshit? These niggas sitting here playing games like a bunch of little fucking kids. This shit is boring. And this is when he decided to go and be a menace and disrespects Oliver. Baki goes and gets in the bed with his girlfriend and just starts sleeping.
No.
This nigga Oliver was shocked, like, hey, yo, what the fuck are you doing? But Maria's like, oh, nah, nigga, what the hell are you doing? You sitting here glazing this fucking handkerchief like a fucking kid out here playing games and shit when you're supposed to be fighting. That shit was so boring that this kid fell asleep. And bro, this nigga's face, bro, he's like, yo, what? And then she finally says this.
A fight between real men should be a knockdown brawl. Seriously, what else is there?
She kisses Baki. Oh my god, this man is a straight up fucking menace, bruh. And that's not even all, bruh. Baki gets out of the bed and starts rizzing up Maria.
And you were so warm.
Bro, this nigga Baki literally got in bed with Oliver's girlfriend and then rizzed her up afterwards. She was blushing and everything. Yeah, bro, this show's full of menaces, but Baki is just a menace among menaces. But that's not even the only time that he decided to troll Oliver. Our next exhibit is Baki bitches Oliver. Part 2. So after being in the prison for a little bit, Baki decides, you know what? I want to be unchained too. I want to troll this nigga. So while the guard has them standing for, you know, their morning roll call, Baki's like, hey bro, can I go outside? And all the other prisoners are looking at this nigga like, ain't no way he just asked that. Because first of all, you're not even supposed to be talking. And here he goes, all I want to do is go outside and get a little fresh air. The guards were shocked. The guard is so shocked he couldn't believe what the fuck he was hearing and decided to, you know, make sure he heard it right. But Baki kicks this nigga in the head, jumps behind the other one and claps this nigga's ear, and then jumps off the fucking balcony. The other guards come to shoot at this man, and he's just sitting here dodging the bullet. Like, bro, this nigga swear he's Spider-Man, bitch. Anywho, he runs and kicks the door, and 3 guards were just waiting for him. They shoot, but that nigga already dodged and, you know, smacks all 3 of them back to back and takes the keys to open the door. And he finally gets to the courtyard. But the warden and a couple of guards were waiting, and he's like, hey, homeboy, you're not getting anywhere. This is as far as you go. He gets the guards to surround Baki, and he's like, exactly how the fuck did you think you were actually gonna escape? And Baki's like, nigga, I already did. And then the warden's glasses starts breaking. And Baki's like, yeah, bro, I broke them shits like a couple minutes ago. And he shows it was when the warden got close to him. And then he's like, yeah, bro, and it wasn't just you. And he shows that he took the second button of each guard's uniforms off. Them niggas was flabbergasted. Even after showing him that, here goes the warden.
Go on, boys, shoot him in the knee and teach him a lesson.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
This man literally told the guards to shoot this nigga's kneecaps off. Anyways, the guards were too scared to even do anything. And Baki's like, that's tough, buddy. Look at that. Even your guards are too scared to do shit. They realize that they're the real hostages here. I could kill these niggas whenever I want. And Baki's like, all right, here's how it's gonna go, bro. You're gonna put your arms around my shoulders. Now, nigga. And we're gonna walk out of here like we're best buddies. And the warden had no choice but to do what he said. After Baki steps outside, he takes a little deep breath and is like, yeah, I'm ready to go back in. So go ahead and cuff me. Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could do this shit or not. They put the handcuffs on Baki. And then here comes Oliver coming out on his motorcycle. He gets off the motorcycle and the warden is like, oh my god, this guy's angry. And Baki trolling is like, wow, look at that. I went outside when I pleased without using a weapon. Oliver's like, Michael, take off this nigga's cuff. Oliver's like, resist all you want, but I'm gonna beat your ass. And then Baki screams, nigga, do you know who you're dealing with? Grab some food and try again. And bro, this nigga Oliver got mad, bro. The veins on his face started popping out. Them shits was coming out the party, bruh. And then Baki's like, dang, must be tough to be an adult, having to hold in your flaring anger just to protect your dignity. Oliver's like, man, look, all I said was, I didn't get to eat breakfast. And then Baki says this.
Even I could leave this place just the same way as you can.
Ho, brother, whoa. Now, you got too much dip on your chip, huh?
I mean, I don't feel like a captive.
Ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
And I don't think I need to stay outside to prove it.
Bruh.
Let's go back in, Warden. It's ridiculous. Not feeling like you're truly free unless you're the most free person in the world. Just seems like it would keep you all chained up.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
This nigga walks away saying, poor thing. Oliver got so mad he threw his fucking bike at the wall. So yeah, bro, Baki is a fucking menace among menaces. This man is right up there with his dad, Yujiro. I haven't seen the newest season of Baki because I turned off my fucking Netflix subscription. But when I do, I might make a... Actually, never mind, bro. Too many people already made a video on it already. Today, we are covering the father, who is 100 times worse than Baki. Yujiro Hanma is by far the most disrespectful anime character that I've ever seen. From committing heinous crimes, going to war with countries, and having hands rated E for everything under the sun, you can't possibly tell me there's any other characters more disrespectful than Yujiro. But if you don't believe me, today I will be proving you wrong. But before we begin, please make sure you're subscribed and turn on that notification bell because some of y'all don't be getting the notifications when I upload. And if you want some extra perks from the channel, become a member and support me. But without further ado, let's get into it. Yujiro is known as the strongest creature on Earth. Notice how they said creature and not man. Yujiro is at the tippity top of the food chain in Baki. I mean, when you have the power to stop an earthquake with a punch, you deserve that spot. But before he was the strongest, he had to be born. And bro, this man has the strangest birth story ever. The moment that his body was ready to come out, like he ain't care how long he has been in the womb, he wanted to come out. And bro came out the womb barking orders, telling the midwife who was delivering him to be careful. Like, bro, imagine pulling out the womb disrespecting people. And he did not stop there. Bro proceeded to suck his mother dry, drunk all her milk, bro. She became so terrified of giving birth after Yujiro that she shaved her head and became a monk. Imagine traumatizing your mother to that level. Bro was a walking problem from the moment he was born. The moment Yujiro came out the womb is the day the biggest menace to society was born. Well, after his father Yuichiro. Turns out that guy was just as much of a problem as Yujiro. Maybe even worse. Because his most famous technique is using his opponent's bodies as nunchucks. Bro was swinging around full-grown men like they were nothing. So Yujiro had some big shoes to fill. Later on, around 16, Yujiro decided, damn bro, I need some money. I don't got no hoes, no bread, bro, this ain't it. So he became a paid mercenary. And he was damn good at his job. Bro joined the Vietnam War and had the US terrified. And this also brings us into chapter 2. If traumatizing his own mother after his birth wasn't enough to make you realize how much of a menace Yujiro was, during his war days, he meets this lady Diane. And bro came out the jump disrespectful as hell. Like I said, his hands are rated E for everyone. This is what he says to her when he meets her.
I could peel your skull like an orange right now if I wanted to.
My guy, you have 0 riz. That is not how you get the hoe. Anywho, she chose to follow him. But later on, turns out she was a spy and a traitor. Yujiro did not like that. Graphic content warning before I even continue, because Yujiro is a heinous man and he does heinous actions. Yujiro proceeds to grape her, giving us Jack Hanma. She also shaved her head and became a monk. Yeah, the Hanma bloodline is a walking problem. Yujiro is so much of a problem, the US has a treaty to not go to war with him because they would lose. Anywho, after his war days, Yujiro goes around disrespecting everything and everyone that comes in his way. After defeating the US military, Yujiro was like, damn bro, this shit boring bro, ain't nobody to challenge me, everybody's weak. Then he had a revelation. His daddy, who was a Hanma, is a threat to society. Him, who's a Hanma, is also a threat to society. So he decides, hey yo, I need another Hanma. So Yujiro goes shopping for a bride. Bro pulls up to a party, finds Emi, who was married, and just glared at her from across the room. And this crazy, nothing going on upstairs lady was swooned by this dangerous man looking at her. Had her panties dropping and everything. Emi's then husband did a dance with death by messing with Yujiro. Bro threw sauce on his fit. And Yujiro, the disrespectful man that he is, kisses Emi. And she liked it. Later that night, bro pulls up to her hotel room, murking every security guard on the way, kills her husband, and tells her, I've come to collect you. Bro, what? Who are you? The UPS? IRS? Bro, what are you collecting? And again, Emi loved this. Bro was like, you are going to bear a strong son named Baki for me to fight. Bro was not asking. But what if I give you a daughter? Bitch, don't make me laugh. The Hanma blood is 99% testosterone. It's impossible for a Hanma to give birth to a girl. So yeah, absurd Baki logic aside, that's how our main character came to be. And after conceiving Baki, Amy thought she was gonna get some love from Yujiro, but bro was like, no, bitch, you just here to carry my baby. Move aside. And bro disappeared into the night to go be a menace elsewhere. The next time we see him is when he decides to traumatize Baki. Bro pulled up after Baki and Hanayama had the fight of their life. They are tired and bruised, and this man comes in like, I'm just in time. You guys just got done warming up. Baki was like, nigga, what? I just fought this man like my life depended on it, and you're telling me we just got started. And this man was like, well, both of you are still breathing, so this fight's clearly not over. Bro, what? This man really said that this fight isn't over until somebody is dead. Hanayama tried to fight him, got both his legs broken and disrespected. Then he bitch slapped Baki into next Tuesday. And when Hanayama tried to come back for round 2, bro ragdolled him and walks out the same hole that he made when he came in. If this isn't pure disrespect, I don't know what is. But the next disrespectful act that Yujiro decided to do is when his best buddy Stridum comes to him and told him that Baki defeated Kaio. And just to prove a point, bro tells the Prime Minister that he's coming for his head. Pulls up to his estate, demolishes his entire security team, pushed back 100 of them, reaches the office, and look at how this man palms the Prime Minister's head. Yujiro was like, damn, ka, if it was this easy for me to pull up and touch your head, you might find it hard to sleep at night. And bro, the Prime Minister fired all his security, bro. Like, bro, this man, Yujiro, exudes disrespect. Like, I don't even think Yujiro pays for his food. Bro just pulls up to a restaurant, eat, and leave. What are you gonna do? Ask Yujiro to pay? Baki challenged this man to a fight. He pulls up, thank everybody for coming. Somehow, an earthquake was happening, right? And bro punches the ground, stopping the earthquake.
Ain't no fucking
and you know
way,
what's
bro.
crazy? Baki
Boy,
still
ain't no
wanted to
way,
fight
bro.
this man after he did this. Anywho, he pulls up, beat the brakes out of Baki, cause young Baki was severely underleveled for this boss fight. After it looked like he was gonna kill Baki, Emi finally decided to be a good mother for once in her life and tried to step in. And Yujiro responds with the bear hug of death, breaking her back and killing her. And you would think after this he's done being a savage. Nah. A bunch of Baki's friends and supporters came to watch the fight. All the people that lost to him in his journey. Yujiro turns around.
Whoa, 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 hey.
And starts running the fade with every single one of them. Well, I mean, it was a one-sided massacre, but bro just started beating the shit out of everybody. And just left when he was done to go spread his malice elsewhere. The next time he pulls up to Baki when he's 18. After this dude just became a champion. Bro pulls up after Baki's fight and knocks this man out with one finger. Like all the training and fighting that Baki did for those 5 years meant nothing to this man. Anyway, you know how some people can't have a good rest unless they read a good book or, you know, listen to some music or watch a video, yeah? Yujiro decides to stop at a random boxing gym, blocks the exit, made a complete joke of the champion boxer, and beat the daylights out of everybody there. And here goes Yujiro. At least I can sleep good tonight. Bro, what? Man's decided harassing a bunch of random boxers was how he was gonna get his good sleep. Yujiro is honestly something else. Like, this man's disrespect has no bounds, and neither does he have any boundaries. Baki was finally about to get some ass one night, and when bro turns around to look at his girl, this man Yujiro is standing there in the middle of the night like some booty bandit. Who knows where he came in, what window he came through, what door he opened. But bro was there waiting for Baki to start or some shit. And even Baki called him a weirdo. And then here goes this nigga. Do it, Baki. Do it. Morning, noon, and night. Do it. Before you eat, after. Like, bro, where did you come from? And just as he appeared with zero noise, bro disappeared into the night. Yo, Yujiro is something else, dog. After giving the most unwarranted birds and the bees talk known to man, bro just walks out the door like he was... Bro really walked out the door like this shit was just a normal Tuesday. Anywho, after this, bro pulls up to where Motobe and Yanagi was fighting, disrespects Motobe by breaking his sword, and backhands Yanagi's jaw off because he didn't want to admit defeat. And bro just walked off into the night like he was Batman.
I want him to replace the man I just folded like a suitcase.
He was not lying. Before the scene, Yujiro pulled up to the tournament unannounced, looks at a random fighter, and decided to fold this man like some laundry, breaking this man's spine in half. This man, Yujiro, is a true monster. Yujiro becomes part of the Raitai tournament, and so he made it his personal mission to disrespect 3,000 years of Chinese martial arts. First order of business, bro got in a fight with Kaio and rips this man's face off. And after every fighter on Yujiro's side demolished the Chinese ones, Kaio decides he wants to fight Yujiro. And by the way, Kaio is 121 years old. He used to have super big muscles, but after getting beaten by a dude with less muscle mass, he's like, damn, I need to follow his regimen. So he loses all his muscles, and now he's very strong. Baki logic. Not having a lot of muscles allowed him to use Shaori. Masterfully, I might add. Yujiro saw this and was like,
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Yujiro, after seeing Shaori, was able to use it. Retsu was flabbergasted. Kaku thought Yujiro was gonna use Shaori against him, but dude was like, I am never using this shit again. He uses his demon back, and then Yujiro proceeds to demolish this old man. Dude had to intentionally stop his heart, just so Yujiro wouldn't actually kill him. Yeah, bro, leave it to Yujiro to completely disrespect 3,000 years of Chinese martial arts. Even though he could use techniques, he chose not to. And with his overwhelming strength, Yujiro goes around the world being a menace and disrespecting everyone he comes across. Just when you thought Baki couldn't get any weirder, they introduced Pickle, a literal cave person. Pickle has no chill, and the only reason that Pickle was revived is because of this hungry ass scientist. Literally, the moment Pickle showed up, this man was like, we're gonna revive him, right? Like, damn, Alan, relax. Everybody else turned to look at him like he was insane, bro, because they knew this wasn't gonna be good if he was revived. But hey, logic be damned, this man was hungry for some meat. And it wasn't even that, bro. He just wanted to be the first person ever to eat a T-Rex. Like, bro, why would you even want that accomplishment on your record? This nigga is so desperate for validation that he is willing to have first man to eat a T-Rex plaque in his office. And look at him, he is excited too, bro is skedaddling to the T-Rex. But unfortunately for him, Pickle smelled what he was cooking and decided to pull up. Man was so flabbergasted that Pickle ate his steak, he pulled out a blick and managed to land 3 shots on Pickle. And look at his dumb ass face. I swear this is the face only a mother could love. Pickle literally threw the bullets at this man just as fast as a gun would shoot it. And bro only got hit in the shoulder. And then this disgusting ass nigga pees himself when Pickle starts chasing his ass to eat him. Bro fires off some shots, but that shit did nothing. And man's got caught by Pickle. He shook him like an entire protein shake and then smacked him across the room. Had this nigga discombobulated. Bro somehow leads Pickle to where the T-Rex was and traps him in there. And here comes this big forehead ass nigga explaining to Einstein what he did. And bro's like, nigga, you stupid. Why did you call so many cops here?
Professor,
bullets
bounce.
Of course, the titular military guy pulls up, starts yapping.
So unless he's King Kong,
and immediately gets proven wrong when Pickle busts through the wall like it was made of Legos. Bro is mad as all hell and starts tossing police cars, throwing officers into the air, and demolishing everything. When the army pulled up with this weak-ass exosuit, Pickle went head-to-head with it, destroyed the glass. And look at the pilot, this nigga is terrified, bro. He tried spinning the arm and only ended up spinning himself. After that, Stratum pulled up and decides to get booty butt naked just to make peace with Pickle. Now they decide to take Pickle to Japan. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will meet the many victims of Pickle. Starting off with this reporter lady. She made the mistake of getting too close to Pickle. And Pickle, who haven't seen a baddie in Lord knows how long. And what's worse, with the way Pickle was living, it could have been a Yujiro situation, where everything weaker than him appears to be female. So he could have been clapping dinosaur cheeks for all we know. I'm not taking that off as a possibility. Anywho, it did not end well for her. She has been traumatized to the max. And mind you, this shit was on live television. Baki, who was at home watching, is just flabbergasted that this happened. After committing this heinous ass crime, Pickle goes to sleep. Following this, Yujiro decides he wants to meet Pickle. And he walks up to these guards. And Yujiro's aura is so strong, these niggas would rather fight themselves before even thinking about fighting Yujiro. Meanwhile, Ratsu takes another way in. But then we see where they keep Pickle. Man, look at this cheap ass crib. Y'all really put books in there like this nigga was gonna read them. And look at this cardboard ass dinosaur they got. That's not even a T-Rex. What is this? Anywho, Ratsu makes it in, followed by everybody else. Turns out, everybody wanted to meet Pickle. This nigga's a celebrity. The fake ass dinosaur bust open to reveal Dopo. And see, I knew that shit was cheap as hell. After dope was revealed, everybody else just started crawling out the most randomest places. I'm surprised nobody else was hiding up somebody else's ass. Anywho, everybody else realized that Pickle is still sleeping. This nigga didn't even wake up for them. Michael almost got a kick to the face thanks to Jack. And when Pickle steps out, bro just starts peeing on everybody. And then Yujiro showed up and pulls the wildest, most randomest feat in Baki, but not before tries talking everybody there.
Y'all look like the winning team at the ugly convention.
Especially Katsumi. He calls that nigga a bitch, tells him his daddy don't love him, and then stunts on Katsumi when he tried to attack him. And then this man walks through the fucking glass enclosure, and that shit snapped back in place like nothing happened. And then bro tests Pickle's gangster with one hand in his pocket. Pickle was excited at this, but then the army put up, and everybody is skedaddled. But turns out, Kaio was also there, disguised as part of the fucking tree. Pickle was so flabbergasted when he watched this man slither into the fucking ceiling. Now as the days go by, Pickle is traumatized at what Yujiro did to him. Had bro replaying it in his head, wondering how the hell Yujiro managed to pull this shit off. Panning over to best girl Retsu, Baki asks him to train him, and immediately gets turned down. Why? Because currently Retsu has a hard-on for Pickle. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Retsu will be our first victim. Cause Pickle managed to claim several victims during this arc, and it all started with Retsu. And man is basically drooling over Pickle, talking about he gotta hold him, get him in his grip. Like, bro, no amount of torture is enough to get me to say those words about another man. Baki hearing this is hot, cause like, damn. Ever since bro showed up, everybody's been talking about Pickle and ignoring him. He's the title character. Anywho, Pickle's been sitting in the underground arena for about a month and has only survived on water. No matter what big ass animal they decide to throw in there with them, they get scared and run away, so Pickle hasn't eaten in a month. Lastly, they decide to throw a Siberian tiger in there with them. It didn't go well for the tiger. That nigga got his spine snapped and was Pickle's first meal in a month. Now, of course, Siberian tigers are an endangered species, so the animal rights people are heated that they let Pickle kill one of them to eat. And this man, Professor Albert, is a complete menace. This was his response to the people that got mad.
There are still 500, and if every last one of them has to be sacrificed in order to keep Pickle alive, that's a small price to pay, I say. After all, a tiger is just a tiger. Pickle is a one-of-a-kind treasure.
Bro, it's like we could sacrifice them all for all I care. Retsu proposes to Tokugawa that they should feed him to Pickle. Like, brother, are you that bored you don't have anything else to be doing other than fighting this caveman? You're even offering yourself up as food. And they let him go through with this shit, cause nigga pulled up to Pickle and he immediately goes on alert and immediately has his fighting stance up. Pickle throws the first hit, sending Retsu crashing to the wall. And when Pickle comes in for a second attack, bro gets countered. A shoe straight to the face, followed by a hair flip, and then bro gets put on his ass, ending the combo with another kick straight to Pickle's face. Retsu had everybody flabbergasted. Pickle was even worse, cause bro was crying until he wasn't, and bro gets mad. Goes for an attack, gets countered again. Gut punch followed by a mean smack to the jaw. Bro had Pickle levitating, and the combo was not even done, cause man's pulled out the stink meter special. And bro was going ham on Pickle, straight hands and feet. Had that caveman's brain dancing in his goal, or so he thought. Until bro gets clapped, and Retsu was KO'd immediately. And look at Pickle grabbing this man like he was a ragdoll, only to eat this man's shoulder. That woke Retsu up and he countered, only to get chomped on again. So bro countered again with an elbow, finally escaping. And after watching Pickle chew on that so good shoulder, Retsu finally decided to put the dogs out. Bro throws a kick and Pickle countered by spiking this man to the ground. Had this man Retsu ass tooted up on a Tuesday. Pickle had this man so traumatized. This was the form of attack he came with next. You cannot make this shit up, bro. This is straight out of SpongeBob. Pickle is looking at this display, and he's genuinely pitying this nigga right now. Like, bro is so flabbergasted at this. You know when you're play fighting your younger sibling and none of their hits are doing anything to you? Yeah, that's it right here. Pickle goes to smash him, but Retsu's 4,000 years of Chinese martial arts trained body responds automatically by blocking it. And then bro did it again using Kung Fu without even trying. Bro blocks another hit and countered with a 4-hit combo. Now, as we all know, logic in Baki already went out the window. But after this, I think Baki logic just left the entire fucking state. Cause bro starts talking to his Force Ghost. I think Pickle hit him so hard that this nigga's hallucinating, but hey, that's just a theory. Anywho, Retsu's finally in his right mind after getting hugged by his Force Ghost and immediately starts countering. Demolishes Pickle's balls. And bro just starts dogging him with the toes, putting Pickle back on the ground. But ladies and gentlemen, this was the beginning of the end. As Pickle gets in his primal stance, he launches at Retsu and sends this man flying into a wall, laying Retsu out. Pickle cries and walks towards his meal. And when Tokugawa tried to come in to say something, man's got smacked by Pickle. Afterwards, Pickle sits down to enjoy his leg. So yeah, that's how Retsu became our second victim. I know earlier I said that Retsu was the first victim, but the first victim was the reporter. And the news of Retsu being turned into food got around really fast. So yeah, Retsu got his ass ate by Pickle.
What? The hell no!
Anyway, after having a hearty meal, Pickle decides he wants to go paint the town red. And that's where we meet Pickle's next victim, Takashi. Bro's walking through the street with a fire fit on. And here goes the narrator with his bullshit saying that this nigga's 21. Bro looks like he's 35 with 2 kids. I'm not hearing it. And what's worse is bro's walking around in the middle of the night looking for somebody to squabble with because he just wants to hurt somebody.
Serious?
And bro pulls his meat out to pee on some garbage and gets grabbed by Pickle. Mind you, this nigga Pickle grabs him by his meat, bro. Pickle does not care. I don't know what happened to the other guy, but Pickle walked out with a new fit. Look at the atrocity this man has committed with the shoes. Bro had everybody staring like he was the next top model. While Pickle was out for his midnight stroll, Truckun decides he want a piece of him. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the night Truckun took an L. And look at him posing like a JoJo character afterwards. Bro ripped the truck apart and was still not done. Bro drop kicks the body and ripped that shit apart until he smelled some meat. And we know how Pickle feels about meat. Bro starts gobbling down on the raw meat. And it's safe to say Truckun was our 4th victim. Following this the same night, he gets into a contest with Hanayama and bitch slaps him 10 feet away. When Hanayama's goon tried to pull up, bro gets his arm snapped like a twig. Next was the Shinshinkai student who pulled up throwing all sorts of hits only to get bitch slapped into the ground. After this, him and Hanayama had a second contest because Hanayama was not done. And he soundly matched Pickle in string. But turns out bro was just stalling for Baki. And when Baki gets there, the narrator immediately starts glazing, blowing smoke up Baki's ass. Pickle just wants a fist bump. Baki returns it and got flipped like a coloring book. So yeah, he pulled the same shit Yujiro put on him on Baki. And Pickle's laughing his ass off afterwards. And the narrator is explaining that Baki is so turned on right now, he's ready to fight. He can't even control himself. So he kicks Pickle in the jaw, staggering him. Pickle, in response, motions for him to follow.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Meanwhile, Katsumi was getting hold the entire season. Bro pulls a bullshit move on Dopo, knocking him out to go fight Pickle, only for that nigga to be gone. Now we pan to Pickle and Baki at the underground arena, and Tokugawa is reprimanding Pickle for being a bad boy, completely forgetting that last time he did this, he got bitch slapped in ragdoll. Now Baki and Pickle square up the fight, and Baki starts pulling his main character nonchalant type shit, only to get kicked into the stands. Not gonna lie, Baki, you don't look so good. Pickle, on the other hand, is emoting. I swear, if Pickle could talk. Oh yeah, you thought you was hot shit, but then I folded your clothes while you was wearing them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we already met Katsumi, and the only reason he hasn't fought Pickle yet is because he's being tenderized by the show. They're prepping him up to be a victim, don't worry. In his journey of prepping to be a victim, Retsu pulled up and decides to train him. Now, Baki ended up with a footprint on his stomach. Looks like nigga got kicked by Bigfoot. Yujiro, on the other hand, is threatening Tokugawa for no reason. Anywho, to contain Pickle, they had to use 140 dozen barrels of chloroform to keep this nigga knocked out. And that bitch still barely worked. Meanwhile, Katsumi just learned to punch at the speed of sound. Now, are you ready to hear the Baki logic behind this? Because this man imagines himself having way more joints than he does, he is now capable of punching at the speed of sound. Great! Meanwhile, Baki is fighting against imaginary dinosaurs. But ladies and gentlemen, the show has gotten Katsumi nice and tender, perfectly ready for Pickle. They even brought his mom to watch. Actually, they brought both of his moms to watch. As he enters the stadium, we see the results of Baki's fight with the dinosaur. And bro is not looking too good. Katsumi enters the stadium and receives a rousing welcome. Even Retsu and Kaku were joined in. And when they let Pickle out, bro immediately goes on the attack, only to be countered soundly by Katsumi. So Pickle goes back for a bite, only to get kicked in the ball. I swear it's not a Baki fight until somebody gets kicked in the balls. Katsumi follows it up with a sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox 8 and had everybody flabbergasted until Pickle started grinning and kicks Katsumi, sending this man several feet back. Even though he blocked, that nigga landed on his face. Bro gets up and gets ready to use his new technique. Meanwhile, Pickle pulls a Yujiro stance because he's going hunting. Unfortunately for Pickle, his opponent got some oomph to him and Pickle gets dropped 4 on the floor, ass tooted up. But Katsumi didn't get out unscathed. His finger fingers are cooked. And bro still hits Pickle 2 more times with the same technique, dropping Pickle again. And just like before, bro lost an arm and a leg. But Pickle was not done. After getting hit like that, man's pulled out his primal stance. But turns out Katsumi had a final technique up his sleeve. Turns his entire body into a whip and smacks Pickle, dropping him again. And Pickle looks laid out for good. But look at this nigga's arm! That shit is done. But since it looked like Pickle is done too, everybody cheers. It's a great moment. Everybody is excited. But then Pickle got back up. Cause it turns out bro was just sleeping, waiting for his prey to get weaker to eat him. And there's nothing Katsumi could do anymore. Pickle, of course, chomps off his arm. But in a rare turn of events, Pickle doesn't eat the arm. Bro prayed for his sacrifice. And for the first time, Pickle genuinely cried for his victim. Now later that night, Yujiro goes aura farming at a bar with Dopo. And then we pan to Baki, who's gone completely insane. Look at his eyes. Those are not the eyes of a sane person. Bro wants to fight Pickle tomorrow. He can't wait. But before that, I introduce Pickle's next victim. None other than our favorite steroid abuser, Jack Hanma. Bro pulled up to fight Pickle in the strangest way possible. Man's asked for a bite off. And just like that, they're going at it, bro. They're eating each other's faces. Unfortunately for Jack, Pickle has a stronger bite force and rips his face off. And look at this nigga chewing it like this shit was some beef jerky. But shit, Jack was not done. Bro came back and uppercuts this man to the fucking moon. Until Pickle started taking the fight serious and took it into his primal stance. He launches and gets countered, sent flying into the stand. And for a good moment, Jack was getting that shit in, bro. And then he made the mistake of biting Pickle's ear off. And Pickle got so mad, bro started stunting on this man, just showing off his pure speed. And then Pickle decides to retaliate with the meanest juggle combo I have ever seen. Bro uppercuts him, spikes him down, and before his head touches the ground, bro gets smacked into the air again, and then dogged with a right, demolishing this nigga's jaw. And yeah, that was the end of the victim known as Jack Hanma. And even though Jack was laid out, bro had a trap set for Pickle. Unfortunately for him, Pickle was traumatized by a wasp as a kid, and Tokugawa was too short to get hit by the trap. And you know Pickle had to hit the victory dance. But ladies and gentlemen, that was not the end of Jack Hanma. After getting treated by Dr. Kureha, bro pulls back up to Pickle, and bro had Pickle spooked. Look at the look on his face. And bro out of nowhere just starts kicking the fuck out of Pickle. And man's really had Pickle skedaddling away, bro. He was running. But then Pickle was like, hey, wait a minute. I ain't no pussy. Bro turns around and smacks the fuck out of Jack. Turned that man into a Beyblade. When Jack woke up from the hospital again, he wanted to go back and fight Pickle. Until Baki told him what happened after he got clapped. And to say it was embarrassing is an understatement. And Jack got so mad, bro started crying, dog. Like bro wasn't even an opponent anymore. He was straight fool. Anywho, Baki decides Pickle has had his last victim. And bro chooses to stay in the ring with Pickle until it's time to fight. But that's for later. Now it's time to eat. And Pickle's so nice, he's even willing to share his T-Rex meat with Baki. Now after a bit of time, Baki decides he wants to rage bait Pickle. And of course, Pickle fell for it, attacking this man, pushing him to the edge of the ring. And Baki responds with a stink meaner special, followed by a mean kick to the mouth, dropping Pickle. By the time Pickle got up, man got kicked in the face, followed by Baki coming straight from the top rope and stomping on this man's face. And look at everybody's flabbergasted that Baki's doing this. And then bro puts him in a rear naked choke. And right when he's about to pass out, Pickle the demon jumps all the way to the highest point of the arena and drops with Baki on his back. Every single cell in Baki's body was calling for death. Pickle, seeing the damage that he's done to Baki, gets on his knees and he's about to pray for his dear toy. But Baki wasn't having it. And what's even worse is Pickle started toying with this man. But you're not ready for the wildest part, because Baki went up there on his own and dropped himself just so he could get his body out the state he was in. I mean, he injured himself even more, but okay. Anyway, while Pickle's standing there confused as all hell, Baki proceeds to rattle his brain with a 3-hit combo, dropping him. And when Pickle got back up to walk, the floor decided to come up to him. At this point, Pickle thought Baki was a wizard, because how did he move the floor? But this was not the worst that Baki could do, because bro proceeds to use the whip strike on Pickle. And he didn't just hit him once, bro hit him 2 more times. After this, Pickle decides to get in his charging stance, and Baki in return just started imitating animals. After he was done with the regular creatures, bro started doing dinosaurs. Like, nigga, this is not charade. Sit your ass down. But of course, Pickle, who's a primitive man, is flabbergasted and gets caught by Baki and flipped. Bro had Pickle so confused. And then he charges this man in his Triceratops stance. So Pickle pulled that one move he used against Jack, springboarding against the arena. And just like against Jack, bro got flung 60 feet away from Baki. But then Baki, the rage baiter that he is, starts peeing around the ring, claiming it as his own territory. And Pickle jumps down, mad as all hell. And when Baki approached, bro planted Baki in the ground. And before Baki could even process what happened to him, Pickle starts stomping, doing an entire praise break on Baki. He gets back up somehow, and Pickle launches him into the air with an uppercut. And Baki was legit in La La Land while he was in the air. Bro lands and pulls one of the wildest lock-in moments I have ever seen. Bro literally turned into UI Goku, weaving every single hit. And then the magnum opus. Bro uppercuts Pickle straight in the ball. Bro literally turned Pickle into a Beyblade. After a hit like that, Pickle had to get serious. Pickle finally decides to transform into his final form by completely relocating his joints. Now logic would dictate that Baki was about to get thrashed, but Baki started countering the daylights out of Pickle. Bro throws a right haymaker and gets his brain rattled. When he throws an overhand, bro falls straight into an uppercut. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, Pickle was getting thrashed. Bro had this man on the rope. Pickle even tried bolting across the arena, but Baki was right there with him, countering him every time, until he finally puts Pickle on his ass. But then Baki, this absolute goober, decided he wanted a battle of stamina to finish it out. And they started going at it, throwing straight hands. But everybody who was watching already know where this was going. And in the end, Baki got laid out. And yeah, that was Pickle's final victim. Afterwards, they ended up sitting together as buddies. But then nobody knew what to do with Pickle. Do we freeze this nigga back up, or let him roam free and claim more victims? And so 1 billion people voted, but leading by 1,000 votes, they decided to put Pickle back on ice. Unfortunately for everybody else, that's not what Pickle wanted. So he broke out, brought Stridum a gift, and disappeared into the night. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's how Pickle came out of nowhere, turned the strongest fighters of Japan into straight victims, and disappeared without a trace. Baki not making sense is a universal constant. It is a law. From Ratsu running on water, Baki fighting imaginary animals and people and taking real damage, to the narrator gaslighting the daylights out of you whenever he tries to explain something, and the magnum opus, Yujiro's dead father pulling up as a force ghost and going, damn bruh, ain't no way you struggling against your kid, bruh. That is crazy. Wouldn't let that happen to me though. Baki, why you playing around with that man, bro? I know you could beat him. During one of the greatest father versus son fights in anime. And you, the audience, is standing there like, how did we get here? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I come in. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Baki was born out of some wild circumstances. Yujiro, who was fresh off fighting in wars with his bare hands, has the title of the strongest creature on Earth, was suffering from success. Since he's the strongest creature on Earth, he really doesn't have any challenges. And so he decides, damn, if nobody gonna challenge me, I'm gonna make my own challenge. So he pulls up to a party, glares at Emmy, kisses her in front of her rich husband, and then later that night put up to their crib, ran through his entire security detail, grabbed her husband with one hand, snapped his neck right in front of her, and then bro's like, you're gonna birth me somebody to fight, a boy named Baki. And so from then, Baki was given state-of-the-art equipment, the best coaches and scientists to prepare him to fight Yujiro. But ladies and gentlemen, even with all that, the only thing Baki truly ever wanted was his mother's love. But this bitch is insane, bro. Imagine a man pulls up, murks your husband right in front of you, and in response, your panties drop? Amy is not right in the head, and that's exactly why Yujiro chose her, cause she loves violence. After Yujiro waited 13 whole years for Baki to get stronger, he wasn't satisfied with where Baki was. So he told Amy to pack her bags and get the fuck on, cause she didn't give him what he wanted. And she somehow ended up hating Baki for it. Like, the hell wrong with you? Baki grew up with no familial love whatsoever thanks to Emi. Like, there's having a shonen protagonist's parents dead, and then there's Baki. Both of them are alive, but they suck. Baki was doing everything in his power to grow stronger to make his mom proud. And this bitch is just fiending after Yujiro. And being mad he's not giving her any more meat. Like, I feel so bad for Baki, bro. We literally opened the first episode of his anime with Baki fighting 100 delinquents by himself. And bro was getting stomped. But Baki rule number 2 states, it's not a Baki fight until somebody gets kicked in the balls. And in the end, he managed to take out 37 out of 100. Do you know what his mom's response was, a loss is a loss. And you wanna know what's even worse? She's the one who paid them niggas to jump Baki. Bro, when we are mentioning worst parents in anime, I want people to start putting Emi's name in the lot. Not only does she pay for him to get beat up, but she also goes around kissing this man in his mouth. Just a failure as a parent. Baki, realizing he's nowhere strong enough to fight Yujiro, decides to go train on his own in the mountains. And then spectacular Baki logic, he decides to go and fight Bigfoot. This is a 9-foot tall ape named Yasha. Previously, Yujiro came and killed its child. And when Baki was stupid enough to come to its cave, bro ended up getting dogged and got his good friend injured in the process. But that was only their first encounter. Baki's real training consists of him jumping off a cliff. Hey Baki, if you wanna go off a cliff so bad, I know a couple of guys. Anywho, bro goes on to fight the Yasha ape, and Baki has his most challenging fight yet. Mind you, this man is 13 years old fighting a giant ape, and he started off real strong too, until the ape started fighting back and bro got teabagged and clobbered. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not a Baki fight until somebody gets kicked in the balls, and Baki proceeds to destroy this creature's poor stones. After getting slashed by some claws, Baki managed to down this man with a 3-hit combo straight to the dome. But that was not the end, cause bro proceeds to spike Baki on the ground and ragdoll this man. And then he tried to rip this man's skull apart from his mouth. Baki luckily escaped. And after a hard-fought battle, Baki finally manages to win. And later, he ended up befriending Yasha Ape. Unfortunately, when he got back home, he had to deal with this big-ass 15-year-old Hanayama. Bro proceeds to kick this man's entire desk into oblivion and then drops Hanayama with the kick straight to the dome. Unfortunately for Hanayama, before he could get his revenge, the Popo pulled up. So their fight had to wait. Now, all of this is so Baki could get stronger. He goes up against stronger and stronger opponents so he could increase his strength in an effort to impress Yujiro. At the start of the anime, Yujiro was Baki's ire. Like, he genuinely looked up to this man for his strength until his fight with Hanayama. Because Hanayama gave Baki his biggest challenge and was seen as a stepping stone to get closer to Yujiro's strength. How laughable that statement is. Anywho, Kaoru got so mad that he got dropped. Mans was taking his anger out on a random car. And then bro goes to this professional boxer, Yuri, who previously put the beats on Baki when he challenged him. And bro just went and demolished his hand to force Baki into a fight. And bro stalked Baki around for days. And when he finally got his hands on that man, Brody went to town, dogging the daylights out of Baki. This man even threw an entire speaker at him. And that was not the worst that he did. This man full knowing tossed Baki out of a window with all intent to murk this nigga. Unfortunately for Kaoru, Baki is very resilient, and bro came back. And this is when the real fight started. Because Baki pulled out Liu Kang's bicycle kick and then launches this big ass 15-year-old, by the way, several feet away.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
And this is when Kaoru decides to get serious, because bro gets naked, showing this wild ass back tattoo. And when bro gets back into the fight with Baki, mans grabs his arm and pops that shit like a balloon. Mind you, that move put down a pro boxer who is currently in the hospital. And Baki, this 13-year-old, just wrapped that shit up and continued fighting. Man start tossing Kaoru until Kaoru hit this man with a 2-piece combo of doom. There is no possible way Baki didn't get CTE from that first hit. And the second hit put him on his knees. And still, Kaoru grabbed this man's head, puts him on the wall, and gives him a third hit. They legit thought Kaoru won after that one. But Baki wasn't done, because bro came back and started breaking Kaoru's fingers. And look at him, he thought he was good.
Got him now.
Sent his ass right back to the crater he was in. And they both fell to the ground after a hard and exhausting battle. Until Yujiro pulled up, claims that they're finally warmed up and it's now time to kill each other. When Hanayama tried to do something about it, bro gets both his legs broken. And when he tried to use his special on Yujiro, bro flexed and canceled that shit. And then tosses this 400-pound 15-year-old like a sack of rice. And when Kaoru tried to come back, Yujiro ended him with one punch. When Baki tried to do something about it, bro got backhanded into unconsciousness. And mans just hopped out the window where he came from. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Baki hates Yujiro now. And well, Yujiro wants to give this man even more reasons to hate him. So he pulls up to troll Baki. While bro's in the park training, Yujiro pulls up with a box. In the box is none other than Yasha Ape's head. When Baki tried to attack him, bro kicks him through the box. Rage baiting Baki. When he goes to attack Yujiro again, bro just busts his ass. And so Baki decides to renounce the Hanma name. Yujiro is ecstatic about this. And to troll this nigga further, bro shoves Baki's hand in his mouth and sweeps him. And then this lunatic disappears in a flock of crows. Mind you, this was when Baki was still somewhat sane, not mentioning the part where Baki eats Yasha's tooth for strength. But believe it or not, this isn't even where the revenge story starts. Cause Baki still has a whole lot of training to do. So Stridum dropped him in the middle of the forest to fight grown army men. And this is where we get introduced to Gaia. Baki lands and gets attacked by a nigga coming out of a tree, choked until he passed out. And then the rest of them came out of hiding. Again, these are a bunch of trained soldiers attacking a 13-year-old. And this one creepy nigga already trying to cut him open. Later that night, Baki escapes and put the same hiding in the tree trick on its user. And this nigga gonna have the nerve to pull out a knife. And Mance is genuinely trying to kill Baki. Unfortunately for him, Baki gets a good punch in, but almost got his wrist chopped off in the process. So the next time, Baki fakes him out and then lays him out with one punch. And then bro proceeds to bury this man to his head. The next person to pull up is the big guy. And Mance immediately got 2 feet to his face. And bro retaliates with some mud in Baki's eyes. When Baki decides to hop in the river to wash out his eyes, bro uses this as an opportunity to start drowning this kid. And then he made the mistake of just throwing Baki on his shoulders, thinking that he's dead, which resulted in bro getting choked out and buried right next to the other guy. Bro pulled up on the creepy dude from earlier whose name is Namura, while Mans was taking a piss, scared this man half to death, and laid him out with a single kick, and he buries him right next to the others. Now with Baki's next opponents, bro, this has to be the wildest entrance somebody could ever make. Bro pulls up hiding in the body of a big ass bear, and for the mistake of reminding Baki of his father, bro gets the headbutt of doom, and then comboed into oblivion. And then Baki just went crazy and started punching the shit out of this man, until bro pulls a blade out of his elbow. This is literally Doyle before Doyle was here. And even with all these knives, Baki almost gets the drop on him, until man started getting strangled by some string. Turns out there were 2 guys left, but Baki luckily escaped using the other guy's knife and retaliates with a kick. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when we find out the 2 guys left were twins. And them boys started going crazy, comboing Baki. Let me remind you guys again, these are full-grown, army-trained niggas ganging up on a 13-year-old, and he's holding his own. Baki thought those 2 working together were Gaia. Unfortunately for him, he was very wrong. But bro pulled a Uno reverse on one of the twins, and when the other one tried to attack, he broke his knife. And then bro grabs both their ass and suplexed both of them at the same time. But Baki's incessant yelling awakened the worst of them, cause it turned out Gaia is the more dangerous alternate personality of Nomura, and he just came out to play. Bro starts showing the difference between him and Baki, and it is crazy. Mans is weaving Baki's punches so fast, he doesn't even look like he's moving. And bro clocks Baki 10 feet back. When he came back to attack, bro gets grabbed by his throat and tossed 10 feet to a tree across the lake. And then Gaia shows off by editing JP here, and I had to stop the video to make this segment about this Dora the Explorer has jumped this man Gaia just did. In the words of a great man, if you don't jump your ass into an Olympic arena, bitch, you do great. Like, I didn't even stop to think about how wild this jump was while recording. And what's worse is the face he's making. Bro look like he's about to give the greatest back massage ever, jumping across that lake himself, followed by this man punching Baki through a tree. When Baki tried to come back to attack, bro smacks him, picks him up, and spikes him in the ground at 60 miles per hour apparently. See, this is where the ridiculousness starts. And this was not the end of the abuse, cause bro decides the ground is too soft, so he does the same shit on the water. And somehow Baki survives this, comes back, and starts actually putting up a fight until he wasn't. And that's when Gaia started giving lessons and telling his backstory. Turns out bro got caught and put in front of a firing squad, and Mans was so terrified he lost all his hair, but was saved at the last possible moment by his ally. And that is what awakened Gaia. And then Mans start yapping about how he's superhuman, and bro just starts dogging Baki. Now unfortunately for Gaia, Baki is learning while he fights, and bro learns to let his body do the talking, and immediately he starts countering Gaia. Bro tries to pull a primary lotus on Baki, but bro sticks the landing and counterattack, eventually headbutting Gaia. And then responds, this man yells so loud and discombobulates Baki. he just walks over and puts this man in a choke. Unfortunately for Gaia, Baki is very resilient. He escapes from the choke, drops Gaia, and then kicks this man in the back of the head. But ladies and gentlemen, Gaia is known as a master of environmental combat, and this is what he's about to pull out. Bro throws water in Baki's eyes and cuts this man using a reed as a blade. Bro then jumps off Baki, grabs a rope, and starts strangling this nigga. But then he made the mistake of mentioning Yujiro in his ear. And of course, Baki ends up escaping. Gaia gets angry and tries to attack Baki, only to break his hands on this man's rock hard abs. And Gaia just gets comboed into oblivion. And then bro goes for the jugular, knocking out Gaia. And yeah, that's how a 13-year-old Baki put the beats on a bunch of grown men. Now following this, Yujiro gets the news that Baki defeated Gaia. So of course he has to one-up this nigga. He calls the prime minister and tells this man, hey bro, I'm gonna come to your house in an hour and take your head. So of course bro hires a bunch of security, and Yujiro pulls up, push back 100 niggas by himself, runs in through the front door, claps the 2 security guards with a gun, and casually puts his hand on the prime minister's head. And bro tells the prime minister, I'm not gonna kill you today, but this was just to show you that your security is ass, and I can kill you whenever I want, so watch your back. The prime minister fired all his security detail that day. Now the time was drawing closer for Yujiro to fight Baki, but before that Baki had to get some more training in. First with Yuri, who he called too slow and suplex, followed by Hanayama, which he took several full-powered hits from this man and countered, knocking the wind out of this man. While this was happening, Gaia thought it was a good idea to fight with Yujiro. It didn't go well for him. Bro legit got turned into a lackey. Anywho, all of Baki's close friends pulled up to watch the fight in support him. And his own mom, by the way, was standing behind Yujiro while he stands alone. Like, Emmy is the purest definition of a bitch. Anywho, before the fight even started, we got an insane feat for Yujiro as bro stops an earthquake with a single punch. And when Baki started to attack this man, he was just standing there taking it. Mans was taking 0 damage. This is literally Naoya whenever he tries to punch anybody. Baki was doing so little damage, Yujiro even had time to give an entire speech. And when bro was done, he proceeded to put the pause on Baki, not before saying one of the most out-of-pocket things I have ever heard.
Come on, let's take his heart out.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
And look at this bitch Emmy, she starts smiling. Yujiro attacks Baki and he tried to pull a Uno reverse, only for Yujiro to pull a nah nigga. And afterwards, man just started putting hands on Baki. Even though broski was clearly knocked out, he was still going, he did not care. And during this, Emmy is just elated that Yujiro looks so happy. Until she got closer and sees that her only son is literally close to death. And that's when, for once in her life, Emmy decides to be an actual mother. Except she made the mistake of challenging Yujiro, and Mans gave her the hug of doom as a result, sentencing her to death. And when the policeman pulls up and is like, hey bro, this is literally murder, like we're gonna have to take you to jail, Yujiro backhands this man and then proceeds to decimate everybody that was there. And at the end of the day, Emmy died holding her only son in her hand. After the events of that day, Baki hated his father more than ever, and that's when he vowed revenge. The next time Yujiro fights Baki, that shit was not even close. He pulled up 5 years later in the underground arena, and when Baki goes to attack him, bro casually ate the punch, grabbed his mouth, and knocked him out with a finger. Now the next time Yujiro and Baki fought was during the Raitai tournament. Baki got way too big for his breeches and decides to rage bait Yujiro into a fight. Baki, my guy, you should really chill out. Like bro, your shoes are untied. This dumbass looks down and immediately gets attacked. And for his reward of rage baiting Yujiro, bro gets pushed through an entire wall. Now the next time we see these two fight, we witness peak Baki logic. Yujiro invites Baki over for dinner, but Baki ain't care about all that, bro. He just wanted answers. He wanted to know why Yujiro killed his mom 5 years ago. Yujiro wasn't trying to answer any of that shit. So of course, Baki ended up getting handsy. And then he was turned into a Beyblade. Sat your ass down. Yujiro proceeds to sun him even further by forcing him to get an attention and spanking him. Almost threw his ass out the window. Now you know when you about to get a whooping and you somehow make the mistake of grabbing the belt? Yeah, since Baki moved his hand, Yujiro decides to kick this man through a wall. And as if that's not enough, Yujiro decides to jump out the window with both of them. And here comes the narrator trying to explain how they survived this. They even brought in an expert to explain, like this shit was an episode of Pawn Stars. And of course, Yujiro gets up like that shit was nothing. But Baki, on the other hand, he needed help getting up and decides to smack Yujiro in the process.
Smack your goddamn daddy!
Unfortunately for Baki, Yujiro ate that shit and retaliated, sending this man through a glass wall. The police team tried to stop Yujiro with some riot shields and immediately realized their mistake and ran their ass away. Yujiro gets to Baki, pinches his cheek, and tosses him like a sack of rice. When Baki tried to retaliate with an attack, bro gets tripped, blocked, and then bumped on the head, knocking him out. And then bro kicks the fuck out of Baki while he's still dazed. Following this, Yujiro decides to get in touch with his zesty side. And bro uses the whip strike on Baki. Not once, but twice while mans is still writhing around. Baki, of course, retaliates. But Yujiro, being Yujiro, of course, has a technique to avoid all the pain by clenching his ass cheeks so hard that he flexes every muscle in his body all at once, dispersing the pain. So realizing that Yujiro is a master of Baki logic, Baki gets in his fighting stance. Tokugawa comes out of nowhere and tells Baki he could destroy the entire mall if he wants to, and that he believes Baki can win. And Yujiro immediately proves this nigga wrong by sending Baki into the wall. And then Yujiro does the funniest shit I have seen in Baki so far.
Get serious, Baki. That's enough of this shit. Show your father what you're made of. Let's do this for real.
Like, bro, look at him. He is so offended that Baki's not taking this seriously. Anywho, Baki taking a hit like that decides to start using Baki logic himself. He somehow turns his body into liquid and launches himself at 167 miles per hour, imitating a cockroach. And bro manages to push Yujiro back. And look at his face, bro. Yujiro is so proud of Baki right now. In response, Baki roundhouses him in the throat, followed by the stink meter special, sending Yujiro through several toilet stalls. But that does not change the fact that this man proceeds to grab Baki and suplex him through the wall. And that's when everybody realized there's a giant crowd here, and this shit is being broadcasted on national television. So of course Baki uses this to try and troll Yujiro. Damn, bruh. Everybody came to watch me beat your ass. That's crazy. And then bro launches a 3-piece combo that made Yujiro bleed. And Yujiro appreciated that. So the next time Baki launched at him, bro stood there like a fucking wall and then palms this man's face so hard. Bro had Baki crying, bleeding, and set this man like 30 feet back. And look at everybody recording this. I'm about to put this shit on YouTube. Baki apparently didn't get embarrassed enough because he went back for another attack and got face palmed the second time. And then a third time when he tried to throw a punch. Bro had wobbly vision after that shit. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, Baki, if anything, is resilient. So of course he gets up from this and started attacking Yujiro. But bro was blocking every single hit. When Baki was done, he realized that somewhere Pickle was watching. So he gets into his Triceratops stand. Even Yujiro was astounded. That shit had Pickle on the edge of his seat. So he charges Yujiro and bro stops it. But he still got pushed back into this random van. And ladies and gentlemen, this random van during this fight is going to suffer the most abuse out of everybody. Anywho, Yujiro proceeds to make fun of Baki and all his stances. And then he's like, I'm about to show you the strongest stance of them all. And this nigga proceeds to start doing Dragon Ball moves. Like, yo, that's a whole key blast. Mind you, the people in the audience are witnessing this nonsense with their own 2 eyes. And they are flabbergasted. After that display, Baki decides to show off and drops Yujiro face first. Like, bro, if he, look, that's some bullshit. His nose is touching the ground, bro. You got dropped. After that move, Yujiro was so proud of Baki, he's like, yo, come here, let me pat your head, dog. You did that shit. But Baki was skeptical, bro. He couldn't believe this shit his entire life. This is all he's waited for from Yujiro, is just some praise. Now that he's getting it, bro, he can't believe this isn't a trap. Even his body refuses to believe that shit. Yujiro seeing this is like, you know, the thing about being the strongest in the world is I could take whatever I want. The choice ain't yours. And bro just grabs Baki and pats his head. There's nothing he could do about it. Baki is squirming and tries to kick Yujiro, but bro only kicked himself. Afterwards, he sends Baki spinning, and this man somehow landed it, only to get his sternum caved in, followed by a sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Hey, bro didn't even get to land. He got gut punched. Buddy was on the floor, winded. And somehow that was not the end of Baki, because Pickle made the mistake of butting in and got his jaw knocked loose as a result, losing an entire fang. Man didn't have no choice but to go sit his ass down somewhere. Now the fight continued with Baki getting dropped on his ass, and bro almost got his head stomped in and almost got decapitated if he didn't dodge. Now Yujiro decides to fuck around with his next attack, and Baki used that as an opportunity to get this man with a secret technique called Lion King and putting him in an armbar. Or so I think that's what it's called. If somebody knows what this hold is actually actually called, comment it down below. Anywho, Yujiro escapes this by doing Yujiro things, elbowing the fuck out of Baki. And ladies and gentlemen, this man Baki got hit so hard he pissed himself. Yo, nigga, you just pissed yourself in front of like 100,000 people. Anywho, Baki launches his next attack, throwing piss all in Yujiro's face. But Yujiro weaved and countered his ass. And look at them, they think they so cool, aura farming and shit. Like, Baki, you just pissed yourself, bro. We did not forget. Anywho, at least Yujiro's proud of his son. Look at his face. He got a dumbass smile on his face. Yujiro decides to pull out his demon back next and dogs Baki, sending him flying to the van. See, what did I tell you? This van's gonna suffer more than Baki. Before he could even process anything, Yujiro launches another attack, demolishing the van. He did not stop there, bro. He continued hitting Baki and the van. We found the owner of the van, by the way.
My car's been totally destroyed.
Baki was getting clobbered so much, bro, even peed himself again. Yujiro had his ass laid out by the time he was done with him. And look at that! His demon back is showing. Yeah. After that beating, Baki was ready to give up. But then the Baki nonsense got turned up to the max when Yujiro's father and Baki's grandfather, pulls up. Bro talked some shit to Yujiro, said some words of encouragement to Baki, and just skedaddled his ass back to the afterlife. Him appearing made Yujiro remember that he knows his dad's best technique. A technique called dress. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought earlier was an insane showing of child abuse, you're not ready for what happened next. Cause Yujiro grabs Baki and starts flinging this man around like some nunchuck. The narrator explains that blood is coming out of every hole in this man's face. Baki literally sees everything as red. Now that was bad, but Yujiro can always do worse. So bro starts going ham on the van with his nunchucks. And what's crazier is he's praising Baki while doing this. By the way, everybody who was watching ran their ass away once he started swinging Baki around, leaving a 300-foot radius. And you wanna know what's even wilder? The lunatic martial artists that are watching this are calling it beautiful and getting jealous. Talking about some trusting relationship. Nigga, he is whacking his son with a van. Wait, he's whacking a van with his son. Like, that shit sounds just ridiculous saying it out loud. After Baki was done getting flung around, he was still holding Yujiro's hand, cause he made a present for Yujiro. While this man was being used as nunchucks to demolish a car, this nigga took the opportunity to make a toy for his father. And Baki, fresh off a high, starts countering Yujiro. Sent him flying with the two-piece and a kick to the throat when he landed. Bro even got Yujiro stepping back. Baki is dogging Yujiro right now. And like I stated earlier, it's not a Baki fight until somebody gets kicked in the balls. That man is making sure Yujiro can't have no more kids. And just when you think Baki's getting cocky, bro hits Yujiro with a hard counter, followed by a heel to the schnoz, putting Yujiro on his ass. Yujiro survives that beating and tells Baki he is a genuine Hanma child. And Baki goes in for his next attack. Gut punches Yujiro, sending him flying. And Yujiro is so proud right now, he is getting the fight of his life. This is exactly what he wanted. This is what he could never get. For all the years he went around being a menace to the entire world. While they were standing there yapping, Katsumi pulls up. And she's like, man, what the hell wrong with y'all? Y'all throw 2 punches and then yap for 5 minutes. Can y'all just throw hands without all that damn yapping? And look at the two of them standing there. Like, bitch, Yujiro has killed niggas for less. Get your ass back. Anywho, Baki explains while fighting Yujiro that only the two of them can do this. Nobody else is strong enough to make Yujiro go all out. And it's the same for Baki. They have both used their best techniques tonight, and they can only do that against each other. Anywho, Baki gets punted to the van again and does a little twinkle toe land. He comes back and starts going band for band with Yujiro. Out of nowhere, the animation quality increased tenfold. Okay, Netflix, I see what y'all doing. Hit after hit, Baki is matching Yujiro. And look at that, they even get to be a normal father and son for a short time. And all good things must come to an end, because Baki gets down and suplexes Yujiro, followed by a 3-hit combo until Yujiro pulled a Homelander and destroyed his eardrum. Same move he did to Emi 5 years ago. After clapping his ear a second time, he puts Baki down and proceeds to show Baki how to make a fist. The first ever lesson he taught Baki as a kid. And of course, he wants Baki to use that fist against him. And they start slugging it out. The punches are so loud, the peanut gallery gotta cover their ears. While Yujiro and Baki are throwing hands, some random people in the peanut gallery starts praying to Yujiro. Cause turns out on his side quest around the world, he used his immense strength to defend the weak. By the way, none of this redeems Yujiro of anything. He still sucks as a human being. Anywho, while Baki and Yujiro over here throwing hands, Jack is sitting at home with his steroids, and bro is legit this Yugi meme.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
Anywho, after beating the shit out of each other, Yujiro grabs Baki, and he gave him the hug of death that he gave Emi 5 years ago. But Baki isn't Emi, and even though this nigga was KO'd on the ground, his spirit started attacking Yujiro. He tells that nigga to chill out, and proceeds to make imaginary soup. And the two of them sit down at an imaginary table, and this nigga Baki has the nerve to say that the soup is salty. Bro flips the table, and Yujiro goes to grab it, but then there's nothing there. And the peanut gallery is flabbergasted that the imaginary table is gone. Jesus Christ, Baki makes zero sense. Anywho, Yujiro's like, yeah, bro, I lied. The miso soup was salty. And then he declares Baki as the strongest in the world. Cause Baki made the strongest man in the world get in the kitchen and make some miso soup. And the essence of strength is imposing your will upon others. Mind you, Baki doesn't even know he was declared the strongest in the world. Cause that nigga's eardrums are torn to shreds. Anywho, Baki concedes defeat and hand the victory to Yujiro, while Yujiro passes down the title of the world's strongest. And yeah, that was the ending of the greatest father and son fight in anime history. So yeah, if Yujiro had just waited 5 more fucking years, he would have gotten a good fight out of Baki. But nah, he decided to beat up on a 13-year-old and kill his mom. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.